Let's get nasty on a Wednesday. It's a Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, I'm Anthony Stalter. 202, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Hope everybody's having a good Wednesday here in St. Louis. Appreciate everybody tuned in. Shout out to the Snake Pit. Yeah. Which, of course, you could be a part of for our Air Alliance team. STL or 101 ESPN STL YouTube channel. You can always reach us during the show if you'd like to via the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646. We've got more Cardinals holiday ticket packs to give away today, so hope you stay tuned in. Talk a little Blues, talk a little Cardinals, talk a little Shohei Ohtani. Making some news for the wrong reasons, potentially.
Spicy.
A little NFL, including the Stalter Stackup.
Oh, boy.
I will reveal the number 10 team.
Oh, boy.
Last week I had the New York Football Jets. I thought they earned it. I got to drop them out, though, Jamie. They lost last week to the Falcons, so I'm going to have a new number 10 in the Stalter
Whoever
Stackup.
the Falcons are playing this week, Marshy, watch. I've seen this act before.
Yeah. You know, I took to heart what you guys said last week, so
I can tell.
I did some I did some soul searching.
I have
on that.
Nobody on the planet had them at number 10.
I did, Jamie.
You know what?
And I was wrong. I fully admit it.
There's only three outcomes that could happen. One, it could be Minnesota Vikings. Two, it could be whoever the Falcons are playing this week. Or three, because they've been struggling lately, although they've been winning, it could be Jamie's Detroit Lions.
Oh, you just watch your mouth. Watch that potty mouth.
I don't come up with the rankings.
I don't like what you're doing right now, Marsh. I think it's disrespectful.
It's horrible.
Stalter Stackup coming up 5:30. All right.
Of course it's going to be after I leave.
Yeah, it certainly is. Blues Golden Knights pregame. Start at 7 o'clock right here on 101 ESPN. Jamie's with us for the first 3 hours of the show. Then he's going to get out of here. He's going to go down to Enterprise Center. So this, of course, is the second straight time the Blues are going to face the Golden Knights.
That first time was easy.
That first time was, yeah. For everybody else but Binnington. Adjustments, Jamie. This is always the topic of conversation when you face a team in back-to-back games. So what adjustments do you anticipate the Blues making following the victory over the Golden Knights?
Yeah, I don't expect any systems adjustments because, quite honestly, your systems were fine. The one adjustment that I would make if I was the Blues is making sure that I'm not turning over the puck. Offensive blue line, defensive blue line, that was the biggest issue last game against the Golden Knights. And I'll tell you this, the Vegas Golden Knights are one of the best teams in the NHL at putting their sticks in a passing lane and getting sticks on pucks. Mm-hmm. Watching them play against the Blues last game, I was like, man, now the Blues have really good sticks as well. Okay, they do. They're a good defensive team with their sticks. But the Vegas Golden Knights just seem to always get in the way. Or always get a poke check, or Mark Stone pulls the puck, steals it from you. So that's why the turnovers are...
They're massive, Jamie. They're all over the ice.
They are giants.
I mean, they fall into, block shots sometimes.
They do, which means you're going to have to make sure that you're aware of that. And I think that the Vegas Golden Knights are a team that they're going to give you something, and whatever they give you, take that. Don't try to make chicken salad out of chicken poop. My grandfather said that one time. He says, you might think it's going to be fine, but it's not. Okay? And he was right. He was right about that. Man of many words. Mm-hmm. But saying that, the Vegas Golden Knights will give you something, but you can't force pucks through the middle. You can't force drop passes, behind the back, high-risk passes, because they're almost like baiting you for that. And then, boom, they knock it down. They're back the other way. And they did that in the first period until the Blues kind of got a grip on things and said, okay, maybe we need to make sure the puck is out of the high traffic area. Let's put it along the wall. Let's make passes that are tape to tape.
Sure.
Let's do that. So for me, the biggest adjustment, if you call it that, is just managing the puck much better, specifically in the first period.
They used to say, take the profits.
Yes.
That was Brady's offense. Take the profits. They're going to give you 3, then take 3. If they're going to give you 5, take 5. And all of a sudden, you're in the end zone.
At some point, yep.
And it might be viewed as conservative, but it really just goes to what you're saying, Jamie. If Vegas isn't going to give you the middle of the ice, then you're going to have to find ways, what other areas are they willing to give you to put yourself in a good spot to potentially get in front of the net, create some magic, and get the goal in the back of the net.
Well, I'll say
it's not going to be through the middle, then it's not.
The last game, once the Blues got in the offensive zone, they did a real good job with the puck. I would go on to say that I thought the second and third period, maybe the best performance of the Robert Thomas line. including Jake Neighbors on that one, of possessing the puck in the offensive zone. They spent little to no time at all in the defensive zone. It was neutral zone or offensive zone for those guys.
Sure.
They had a hell of a game, and that speaks volumes because that's a really good Vegas team. It's a strong defending team. They pride themselves on good defense. Bruce Cassidy is a defense-first type of guy. So that was real positive as well.
Yeah, I noticed that after Vegas scored to tie the game, the Blues had really good pushback, and I think that carried into the overtime. Like you mentioned, that third period was great. They were rolling the lines, and one thing that I noticed, and you mentioned it, the Vegas Golden Knights clogging up the middle of the zone. It seemed like the Blues were sort of a perimeter team, even when they did have possession of the puck in the offensive zone. Does it simply come down to just quicker passes, moving the puck around and keeping it along, like behind the net and working and going there, and then maybe a forward slips in front of the net?
It's quicker passes, but it's also working harder away from the puck. And Marcia, you know this from your days of playing for so many years, is the easiest pass the guy can make is to the guy that's open. Mm-hmm. And so you have to work hard to get open, especially in today's NHL. Teams are so airtight on their forecheck or neutral zone checking, their defensive zone. So you have to work twice as hard to find that 3-4 feet of clear ice to get a pass. And the team that usually does that better usually plays faster, has more success. I won't say wins the game because you never know. Mm-hmm. You get a guy like Jordan Binnington at the other end of the net and standing on his head, you may not win the game. But for the most part, it helps you generate more team speed. So your point is valid. Good, crisp passes, quick passes, on your stick, off your stick. That's the one thing Vegas does too, is they close you out. You think you have good ice, and then you have no ice. And that's because you hang on to the puck too long. And you saw it a few times last game where guys would hang on, waiting. Scott Perunovich, he learned a big boy lesson a couple times last game against the Vegas Golden Knights. He's like, okay, NHL, I got you. I better move this thing a little bit faster against some of these good teams. And that's the one thing I learned. I remember my first month in the NHL. Puck would come to me, and you're usually at junior hockey in the American League. You can kind of wait it out. You're drifting. You can kind of shoulder fake a guy, head fake a guy. He'll bite. No, not in the NHL. They hold their spot, and then when you go to sauce one, they knock it down, or they pick it off, and then you're going back the other way. It's a bad feeling.
Does Scott Perunovich need to shoot the puck a little bit more?
Absolutely. I've told him to his face. I said, Scotty, get that puck on net. Like, he's got a good shot. He has a real good shot, but he's a pass-first type of guy right now. He does a great job of walking the blue line, which is why I wish he would shoot more, because there's times where he's walking the blue line and you'll notice that he kind of opens up the hips. And most players kind of bite on that because they think he's going to go back towards the half wall. And then he's got 3 feet wide open of shooting ice, and he'll pass it out of the shooting lane.
I noticed that the other night when they were playing the Coyotes. He had Buchnevich sort of backdoor. It looks like there were some sticks in the lane. Made that pass. It hit off a stick, went into the corner, and the Blues sort of lost momentum in the offensive zone because of that. That was an example that I thought, man, just shoot the puck and who knows what happens.
Well, and recently you've got guys that are there. You've got Toropchenko, you've got Jake Neighbors, you've got Kevin Hayes, you've got bodies that are getting to the front of the net. It's the best thing to do is get pucks there. Reward those guys for getting to the front of the net. When you don't shoot the puck and then you turn it over, not that it uninspires those guys to the front of the net, but it kind of does. They're like, why the hell would I go to the front of the net if they're never going to shoot the puck? Right. Reward those guys. I don't even care if you hit them with a few pucks. They don't care. It might go in.
Golden Knights are just 2-2 in their past 6 games. Logan Thompson could get another start. He's 6-3-3 with a 2.33 goals against average. He has stopped 46 of his last 49 shots in the past 2 games. Again, he may make his third start with Aiden Hill sidelined with a lower body injury. The Blues have been solid of late, especially with the victory over Vegas. So we'll see if they can get it done again. Power play going to be another focus for the tonight's game. Blues Golden Knights pregame starting right here on 101 ESPN at 7 o'clock. With Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. Buster Olney of ESPN wrote an article last night talking about why Shohei Ohtani is doing himself and the sport of baseball a disservice by the way he's handling free agency.
Preach, Buster.
Which begs the question, how much does Shohei Ohtani owe to the game of baseball in that regard? That's next on 101 ESPN.
We are now in December and just a couple of weeks away from the Christmas holiday. Take care of your holiday shopping with a gift that your family will love, not just this year, but for years to come. And you can do it in a matter of a couple of clicks with a gift card at mysoundstory.com. Sound Story is a professionally produced hour-long conversation in which you or one of your loved ones is interviewed by your choice of one of our professional interviewers. That's Randy Carricker, Tim McKernan, and our very own Anthony Stalter. It's a conversation that includes their experiences from childhood, maybe through high school, college, their career, maybe meeting that special someone, all of that, and you get to record it and keep it forever. With Sound Story, you and your loved ones' voices, stories are saved for your family forever. Now you and your siblings should go in on a gift certificate for your parents and get them a Sound Story at mysoundstory.com. And for a limited time, enter the promo code ESPN and you get 20% off that Sound Story gift certificate. So again, enter the code ESPN for your 20% off. Sound Story, for you, for them, forever.
Well, if you're a fan of Juan Yepez, you can watch him potentially in the Nationals minor league system because the Nationals have signed former Cardinal Juan Yepez to a minor league deal. I don't know if that one's going to come back to bite him. Well, he's basically had an invitation, I believe, to spring training, and that's about it.
Yeah. Just wondering how a minor league deal, how it compares to a two-way NHL deal. Like, does he have a contract? He has no major league contract right now?
No.
So, oh, boy.
No. So
that's an uphill swing for you, Juan.
It certainly is.
Why would he sign that so early?
Probably has no other offers. Best he was going to get. Maybe it's an opportunity. His agent tells him, hey, it's the Nationals.
How bad are the Nationals again?
Not great. Yeah, they're pretty bad. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So Buster Olney.
So he'll be an MVP soon.
Mike Ryder, our executive producer, came in. He goes, now you have to worry about Shohei Ohtani burning you. How soon does Juan Yepez burn you? So, well, when do they play the Nationals? When do the Cardinals play the Nationals? Speaking of Shohei Ohtani, Buster Olney of ESPN.com released an article yesterday about how Shohei Ohtani is doing himself and Major League Baseball a disservice. You can read the entire article at ESPN.com, but the gist of it is that Buster Olney is stated because Ohtani's been so secretive in this process, and because Ohtani's camp has instructed teams not to talk about the free agent process involving Ohtani, that Major League Baseball is missing out on creating a buzz for its biggest star.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani reportedly met with the Blue Jays, but when the national media members like Buster Olney asked the Blue Jays about it, they're like, yeah, we can't really talk about it. Dave Roberts mentioned that Shohei Ohtani, the Dodgers had met with him, and then their GM had to say, yeah, I don't know why he said that. I can't really comment on that. So Roberts stepped in it a couple of days ago.
Oh, yeah.
Do you
Which
guys
is a bad
think
look, by the way,
that he said it?
No, the Dodgers should have come out and said, oh, yeah, there was a meeting, but, nothing formal.
Right.
Let's
be on the same page. Let's back Dave Roberts.
Let's not just push our guy off the bridge here.
I'm with you on that. So do you guys think that Shohei Ohtani owes it to Major League Baseball to at least play the game in free agency? Not to Only's not suggesting that Ohtani or his camp needs to provide information about where he's going and all that. Just play the game, not block the media when they're asking him or his camp about where he's going next, or, hey, did you meet with, can you verify that? There's been no information from Ohtani's camp. Do you think that Ohtani owes it to Major League Baseball to provide something in free agency?
I think owes it to is strong verbiage. I don't think he owes it to Major League Baseball, but I do feel like there's a certain sense of, like, for the fans, too. Mm-hmm. He doesn't owe the fans. I get it, but at the end of the day, not that you want to turn this into the LeBron James, the decision, because that was a mockery. And I think people have learned from that. And I think that, Shohei Ohtani is probably trying to avoid something like that. Same token, though, build it up a little bit. Like the Ohtani tour. Yeah, he went to New York, or he met with Cohen in wherever. He met with the Blue Jays here. He met with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
What's coming out of these meetings? Well, nothing yet. Just discussions. Just getting to know everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be like, hey, we sat down, talked term, we talked what my rehab schedule is going to be. No, It doesn't have to be any of that. You'd be like, hey, we got to know each other. I've been playing for the Angels for my entire career. Got to know some of these other organizations. And by the way, we're still talking to the Angels.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not sure yet. We're going to make the best decision for Shohei Ohtani, but these are markets and these are teams that have expressed interest, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
Boom. There. That's it. You don't know, but now people, okay, hey, so he talked to the Blue Jays. Now Blue Jays fans are hyped. Cubs fans can get hyped if you talk to them. Dodgers fans can get the internet stirring a little bit. Create a buzz. Have some fun with this thing. That's my thoughts.
I like the secrecy, to be honest. I think that by him doing this whole secret thing, it's creating buzz itself. Buster
Is it,
Olney.
though?
I think it is.
I don't think it is. It's been dormant.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's going to sign with whatever team, and it doesn't matter if the fans know or not. It doesn't. He doesn't, like Jamie said, he doesn't owe Major League Baseball anything, really. He doesn't. And however he wants to go about it, that's fine with me because he's the best player in baseball. He's, as one of the texters alluded to, he is the modern-day Babe Ruth. So I think this guy can do whatever he wants, and if teams don't like that, well, then he's not going to play for them. He said that he might hold that against certain teams if they come out and say something about it. So,
which is a bit much. I know you're the best player in baseball, but let's settle down here a little bit. Come on. Enjoy yourself a little bit, Shohei. I
like the secrecy. I think we live in a modern day now where so much information is being reported and being spoiled. We go back to remember the NHL when the Kraken had their draft.
Expansion draft.
The whole thing got spoiled before we could even watch it.
Yeah, but Marshy, that's a different animal.
I know it is.
That's exact players being picked. This is one player that's meeting with certain teams.
I'm just saying, my personal opinion, I like the secrecy because now I have no idea where he's going to go. And when there comes a notification to my phone at midnight on whatever day saying he signed with X team, it's gonna be crazy.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. So play devil's advocate on this one. Any of the teams that have been mentioned so far, is that surprising to you? Like, what I'm trying to get through is, like, at 12 a.m., like you said, you're going to be shocked with where he signs?
I won't be shocked by
So
where
I'm like,
he signs.
like,
I mean, I could be, though.
If he picked the Cincinnati Reds, now that would be like, wow, newsworthy.
Sure. Well, you know, I believe the Baltimore Orioles GM was asked the other day about Shohei Ohtani.
How do we know that? I thought it was sworn to secrecy.
And he didn't say anything about it. So that leads me to believe that maybe they're in on it, even though that might be a team that we didn't expect to be, right? So there could be other teams that are in on Shohei Ohtani that we don't know. And what if he does land with a different team that wasn't a part of those reports? I think that would be crazy, and I would love it.
Last thing I'll say before I let you grab this one, Anthony, is Shohei Ohtani and his agent could be driving up their own market by at least letting people know. Because if the Dodgers know the Mets have talked to him, if the Mets know the Cubs have talked to, from the inside out, I'm going, okay, we're going to be secretive. It's not going to be a big festival of like who gets Ohtani, all that stuff. No, but we're going to let the Dodgers know. We'll let the Giants know, because now all of them are going to be like, wow, if the Mets have talked to him, or if the Dodgers, we better pony up here a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, he could help his own market that way.
This is an unfortunate situation for Major League Baseball, because they are missing out on what the NBA and NFL have capitalized on for years. The NFL is now a 12-month-a-year sport. They have capitalized on that. They owned one day of the week, and now they're on Monday nights and Thursday nights. Well, they've always been on Monday nights, but Thursday nights now. What'd they do on Black Friday? They had a game. Soon you'll start to see a couple games on Saturday. They have owned days of the week. The NBA was always a big Christmas thing, right? NBA on Christmas. NFL's got some games now on Christmas. The NFL has done this where they have created so much buzz that you don't feel like let me take that back. You feel like you're going to miss something if you're not paying attention. The NBA does it too. The NBA actually impeded on the NFL's turf a couple years ago during Super Bowl week when Anthony Davis, who was with the Pelicans at the time, said he wanted to get traded. Then the NBA's got this big storyline, this buzz. I don't know what Major League Baseball can do in terms of forcing guys to go through the process and talk to the media and all that. I'm sure they could set some sort of standard, but I do know that this is a missed opportunity for Major League Baseball. I don't think that Shohei Ohtani owes, like you said, Jamie, I don't think Shohei Ohtani owes it to Major League Baseball to have to talk to the media. You can't ask him to be anything other than what he is.
Yeah.
But do I think he should have a media person that is handling a lot of this for him if he doesn't want to? Yeah. Because it's a missed opportunity for baseball to drum up some interest while the games are not being played.
So we get a quick text message to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. From the 636 says, the agent and Shohei would be telling the other teams who they've been talking to anyways, right?
Say that again. I'm sorry, I missed that.
Said the agent and Shohei would be telling the other teams who they've been talking to anyways, right? Well, okay. I don't think you're wrong. I think your statement is true. Your text is correct. However, people with billions of dollars, their ego gets the best of them. If I hear behind closed doors that Anthony Stalter is in the bidding for something and Marshy's in the bidding, I'm already like, okay, there's competition here, it's competitive. But if it goes out publicly now, and I have the biggest wallet in the league, and I've got this much ego riding on it, all of a sudden I might just do something really stupid just to say that I won the Ohtani sweepstakes. Mm-hmm. That's why, for me, you get it out there publicly without it being a spectacle.
I think this is better than people just reporting, oh, yeah, Ohtani is talking to the Blue Jays. Cool. Ohtani's talking to the Dodgers. Great. Saw that coming. Ohtani's talking to the Cubs. Ohtani's talking to the Mets. That does nothing for me. This actually is kind of drama filled. This has more drama to it because he is being so secret. You have Dave Roberts coming out and saying something. Now we're talking about this right now. We probably would not be having this segment if this was not a thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I actually
talking
back
about
on that. If we heard he had several talks with different teams, I think we'd be definitely talking about that because we brought up the Cubs. The Cubs were rumored to be, and we started talking about the Cubs and Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah. But to Marsh's point, though, there's some drama now. There's some controversy to it. There is.
Isn't that what you would want to see if you're Major League Baseball? Some type of drama that's going to fill our timelines instead of just, well, Bob Nightingale reported this. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
Well,
easy, Jamie. The only caveat Marsh, to what you just said, the only caveat is if he signs relatively quickly now. If it winds up being a situation where it's weeks or a full month and Shohei Ohtani's not signed and all is secretive, and you don't have these reports, or you're getting a little bit of morsel and that's it, then I think it's a big problem for baseball. Not a big problem, sorry. A missed opportunity for baseball. It's my microphone.
The 816 makes a good point. Mike Trout was the biggest player in baseball for a decade. Major League Baseball did nothing. Don't bet on it.
Did globally people know Mike Trout was the biggest thing in baseball? No. There's still people, you walk through the mall right now, go into a sporting goods store, and there are people that don't know who the hell Mike Trout is.
What?
100%, Anthony, 100%. If you ask just a random casual sports fan, maybe they're not even baseball fans, maybe they like soccer or lacrosse, and they're in there, you say, hey, what do you think Mike Trout's going to do next year? I bet you there would be a percentage of people who go, who's Mike Trout? But if you said, what about Shohei Ohtani, they would know who Shohei Ohtani is.
Mike Trout, good fisherman. Yeah.
Mike Trout.
Yeah,
honestly, he's the most vanilla superstar that we've had in I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Like he does nothing. And I know maybe he wants it that way. He's a fantastic baseball player. I'm not taking that away from him. But he's been absolutely buried for the Angels.
Put up good numbers and get injured.
Oh, boy. Yeah, well, that's been his...
That's his shtick.
That's his shtick the last couple of years.
Wow,
all right,
stealing money.
Did the Cardinals suffer defensively because of their rotating cast in the field? And we're going to see a change.
Rotation.
That, too. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Are you using ED meds? Well, you're probably paying too much for those ED meds. That's why you have to go visit the medicine shop in St. Charles. They've got you covered. They are your destination for cheap ED meds. They've got generic sildenafil for less than $2 a pill. Prescription is required, and they've got a fabulous pharmacy over there. Tremendous staff. They're going to answer all of your questions for you, whether it's allergies, cold, flu, maybe you've got some kind of a small injury. The staff there is absolutely going to take great care of you. Please, when you walk in, tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. They also have a program that I love, which offers free, discreet shipping and delivery to your home or your workplace of any medicines that you take on a regular basis. Maybe your schedule's crazy, kids have got athletics, whatever it is, you don't always have time to get to the pharmacy. That's fine. They have time to get to you. That's why the medicine shop in St. Charles does such an incredible job. So please, again, stop by and visit them, or at least visit them online at stcharles.pharmacy. That's stcharles.pharmacy.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues are back in action tonight, taking on the Vegas Golden Knights once again, looking to pick up another win against Vegas as they defeated the Golden Knights 2-1 on Monday night. Pre-game for tonight's game starts at 7. Puck drop is at 8, and you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. We'll talk with Jeremy Rutherford later in the show in the 4 o'clock hour. Our Blues insider from The Athletic will discuss Jordan Binnington and much more as it pertains to your St. Louis Blues. But coming up next, we're going to dive into the Cardinals and what Oli Marmol had to say about the rotating cast in the field. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Katie Wu of The Athletic, the Cardinals insider, sat down recently with Cardinals manager Oli Marmol at the winter meetings to get his thoughts on the busy offseason. One of the other things that Katie and Oli touched upon was the defensive rotation, so to speak, when it comes to the rotating cast in the field and whether or not the Cardinals suffer defensively because of it. Here is what Oli said on that.
Comes from continuity. It's guys being able to know that they're going to be playing that position every day. Now, do they get a day off here and there and you can mix and match? Absolutely. But yes, we need to get back to playing really good defense. That's been a staple for the Cardinals for a very long time, and last year just wasn't good enough. So that's something we're highly focused on.
I agree, Jamie. And for those that have listened,
joking about it for 10 months now.
Just play your best 9. I'm not saying play your best 9 for 162, but play your best 9 more times than not. How are you going to have this rotating cast and feel like you are? I'll use the same word Oli used. How do you think you're going to have continuity with that? I get it. Guys go into slumps. Guys need days off. I'm certainly not suggesting that the same 9 has to be the same 9 as on game 1 as game 162. But I think there's a reason why teams that have the talent offensively the Cardinals do would roll with those guys, because you know that a hot streak may follow a bit of a cold stretch. That's Major League Baseball. But when you're mixing and matching constantly and guys don't know what their roles are, I think that's a major disservice, especially with the roster that they have. If this was a different roster, bunch of part-time players, role guys, like the whole roster's role players, that's different. But that's not what the Cardinals have.
But even those teams that have these role guys, whatnot, it's like they have a certain amount of short-term success, but long-term it doesn't work.
I.e. the Giants.
Look at the Giants, yeah. And even look at some of the other teams that kind of try and mimic it. A little bit, like a burst of success for a little bit because they kind of time the market right, for lack of better words. And then it's like the market corrects itself.
Yeah.
And so when I look at the Cardinals last year, like it was a running joke, man. Infielders playing outfield, catchers in the outfield. Like, what are we doing here? You had a rotating cast at second base, at shortstop, left field, right field. You ended up with guys like Alec Burleson. I like him. I think he's a dude. Good guy. He doesn't belong in your outfield, like ever, for that matter. Now, he did a real good job spot duty at first base. Fine, great. In fact, he made a couple of real good defensive plays at first base. He doesn't belong in your outfield. Juan Yepes no longer with the Cardinals, but he never belonged in your outfield. Like, you don't need to have these guys that you're just trying to make do because you want that bat in the lineup.
Right.
Or you think it matches up best against this pitcher. No, why don't you just let your current guys just go play?
Yep.
Because for years, teams did that. They did. They didn't play the matchups. Oh, he's a lefty on lefty? Well, I guess he'll figure it out, right? If he doesn't, we'll find somebody who does.
We like our lefty more than your lefty.
Correct. So they finally took the friggin' floaties off of Nolan Gorman last year.
Right. At times.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At times. But before that, it's like, no, he can't go in the deep end. He can't swim. You haven't let him try. If he sinks at the bottom of the pool, you get him. It happens. You're fine. Have somebody qualified around you.
Sure.
But you'd be surprised. That little sucker, he might motor right to the top of the water, Anthony, and breathe big. He did a few times. He had a couple of big knocks against left-handed pitching. So
I agree.
I'm all for the continuity.
I also think, too, if you look at it, if your outfield is Walker, Edman, and Newt, and your infield is Arenado, Wynn, Donovan/Gorman, depending on who's DHing that day, Goldschmidt, and then Contreras, there's not a lot of liability there.
There's not.
Walker, of course, has got to take that next step in his development, but he will.
He's in Jupiter for the whole summer. He's training.
He's an athlete. Absolutely.
Man. He's going to get there.
He's going to be better with the reps.
Rick Ankiel was a starting pitcher. He ended up playing outfield and was an all-star.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jordan Walker can figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, and that's less of a drastic change than Rick Ankiel had to go through. Now, Rick's a freak of nature, a great athlete, but I'd like to think Jordan Walker's probably at least close to equal the athlete that Rick Ankiel was. Time will tell, but he seems like he's projecting in the right direction.
Yeah.
So I like it. Now, one thing that Oli did also said in later on in that conversation with Katie Wu is he basically said, my lineup's set. You know, second base we'll see Dono or Gorman, but I'll see what the roster is, you know, come that time. Basically alluding that there could be a trade still. I mean, that's what I got out of it. To me, it wasn't so much about inner competition. It was more about maybe we still have a trade to make. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he was referring to the fact that an outfielder could go or a second baseman could go.
Aren't they one and the same, Jimmy?
Well, no, they're not. I'm talking like Dylan Carlson might be part of it. Or maybe it's a Nuke bar if you're going after a big fish. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But to me, it wasn't isolated just to the second base position. It made it kind of sound like he was talking about is like Donovan or Gorman. As far as like the trade or the roster movement?
See, I thought he was talking more in line with, like Gorman when he's DH and like Donovan will be our second baseman.
I thought that too, and then I go, they're both lefty bats. Yeah. So what would be the reasoning?
But you would still need a DH.
Yeah.
So I took it as when Gorman's not DHing, he's playing second base. And Donovan can move around.
I took it as there might still be an opportunity for a trade.
There could be.
And otherwise, it'll just be second base that kind of has a little bit of movement.
Sure. Mo mentioned that too. Mo said that the other day as well. He said Donovan/Gorman. And I, after pausing, I had the same thought. I think what he's talking about is that depending on the lineup, the day, who's DHing, one of those guys is going to be at second base. That's how I took it. Gorman's health. Sure.
Wow, Marshy. Wow.
What?
He's healthy right now.
Okay. Will he be through a full 162?
He's just a young man.
I mean, maybe he's not mobile enough to, go lateral and play second base. Mm-hmm. Brendan Donovan can be. And then you have Gorman just DH. I'm not trying to say the guy's going to be injured
I feel
all
like you're
year.
Projecting a little bit.
Jamie, I don't have time for
what's your problem
nonsense today.
Okay? The hell's your problem?
What's your problem?
I got lots of problems, okay? Lots.
Jamie's
don't project it on me.
That's a fair point.
Wow.
All right.
If you wish.
Are college football players hurting the game by sitting out of their bowl games? That's next on 101 ESPN. Jamie, you came to the office today and you had made mention about some players in college football opting out of bowls.
Yeah.
And we've seen this before. Players that are preparing for the draft, that are playing in non-college football playoff games, they have opted for opted to not play in the bowl game and go prepare for the NFL draft. And I feel like you have an issue with this.
Yeah, I do.
Why?
Well, because you signed up to play for your damn team, play right to the end. Like, if they made the college football playoffs, they'd be playing that game, wouldn't they?
I would hope so.
So, but, like, the season's over, right? So why wouldn't a star player just say, well, I'm not competing in the college football playoffs. I made it through healthy this far, and I'm just going to hang on for the draft.
Because they have an opportunity to win a championship?
Okay, fine. But what if you're a team that doesn't win a championship? So you played that extra game and put yourself at risk anyways for nothing. I mean, I know it's in hindsight, right? You look at it back and you go, okay, fine. But the bowl games, here's where I have a problem with it, is I feel like the universities, the colleges, the programs give these men a tremendous opportunity to get an education and have a dream to make the NFL one day. And now they're even paying these kids. Like, no more brown bag stuff and giving it to your uncle who gives it to a friend who finds its way to you, okay?
Right.
Now, it's literally on the up and up now where they're negotiating NIL deals for these kids. So they're getting $100,000 to $200,000 in education, depending on the packages that they're getting. And then they're getting maybe $200,000 to $300,000 to $400,000 a year in NIL money. And now you're going to pull out of the biggest game of the year for your team. The bowl money that goes to the program is big for these colleges. The sponsorship, the bowl money, all that stuff. And now you're just going to pull out of the game. Oh, you gave me all this stuff. You gave me all this opportunity. And now I'm going to back out on you when it's the biggest game of the year for us. I know it's not the national championship, but for some of these teams like Ohio State, I know they're bitter and sucking on a lemon out there. Poor guys. But this is, they're still the biggest game of the year for them right now, apart from maybe the one they lost. But I'm just saying, you got players that are opting out. I don't like it. I don't like the look of it. To me, it's just the wrong message. And I know these guys have millions of dollars to make in the NFL. We also got paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to play college football, all in. So I don't understand the back out. I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Let me ask you a question, Jamie. What do you think the Ohio State Buckeyes made off of Marvin Harrison Jr. playing these last few seasons?
Oh, probably more than... Well, I don't even know if they made more than what they paid him. Think about that now. That used to be the case, Anthony. Now I don't know if that's... I don't even know if that holds water anymore.
So a sponsor will pay Marvin Harrison Jr., but Ohio State doesn't pay him. Outside of what you said about the educate, they provide the education.
Who makes that marriage?
What do you mean?
Who presents that business partnership? Do you think that
Ohio State, for how you're wording this, Ohio State?
Yeah. So without them, without their program, and without them maybe setting it up with some great alumni who have $1 million corporations now, maybe you don't get that money.
So Marvin Harrison Jr., who is likely to be a top 5 pick in the upcoming draft, played, let's see here. He played, of course, it's not giving me the games.
While you're doing that, I want to answer to a text we got from the 870, who apparently has balls the size of church bells.
Hi-yo.
So if that was your kid, Rivers, who might be a top 5 draft pick going to sign from anywhere from $4 to $8 million, you're going to tell your son to play the game? I don't think so. Stop talking blank. I would absolutely tell my son to play that game. 100%. You play that damn game. You got a whole team of guys who are all at risk every single day. Some of those guys will never play a down in the NFL, don't have a hope of playing in the NFL. This bowl game might be the biggest thing that guy ever plays in. You're going to back out of your teammates now? Did they back out on you? That guy that you think is just a big lug on the offensive line that took an absolute beating for you, do you think he's going to back out on you? He didn't.
Jamie, I think you conveniently left out, though, the fact that Marvin Harrison played, and we're just using Marvin Harrison Jr. as an example. It could be anybody. It could be anybody else. He He played 29 games for Ohio State.
So what?
You're
play 30.
You're talking about the one game he's not playing.
Of course I am, Anthony.
Yeah, because that one game, if he shreds his knee, he's not going to be a top 5 pick, and then his NFL dreams are out of it.
The old story of how many guys get injured in that last game? You can cherry pick 3 or 4 big ones, okay? How about all the guys that played over the years and never got hurt?
What about Jordan Travis, who won injury?
You didn't need a bowl game for that, Anthony.
One injury against North Alabama.
So you're proving my point.
Kept Florida State out of it.
You're proving my point.
What I'm
These
saying
guys
is
can get
you
injured
never
any game. It doesn't have to be a bowl game.
Right, but
get injured in practice, get injured training.
But you made the point of like this bowl game means a lot to the university. Why wouldn't these players play one more game? They've already given you anywhere between 29 to.
Okay, and here's where I'm going to get really pissed: is the college has given these players every opportunity.
Yeah.
So if they shred a knee, at least the college has given them 4 years, some 5, of education, and they've given them money and paid them to play, set them up probably for life already if they're that good.
Mm-hmm.
You need to back out.
You're missing my point. What did the player give the university already? You're focused on the one bowl game he's skipping. Like, you gave him
Anthony,
education, you gave him this, you gave him that.
Skipping game 4 of the season doesn't mean anything. Skipping a bowl game means something.
The regular season means something.
I just see it differently.
But can we at least admit that this player, it's not like the player didn't play at all, got a free education, and then also said
to me.
He won't play in the bowl game.
You got all the way to the finish line, you won't cross it. I'm sorry. He has how many teammates that have an opportunity to win a bowl? How about those scrubs that do practice day and they get 2 snaps a season in their lineup?
Jamie.
Now
and they have a chance to win a damn bowl game.
They're getting playing time.
Well, they're getting playing time, and they're also not.
That guy's not getting playing time.
They're also not Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't like it, and I never will.
I'm not going to argue against your point because you make a valid point. I think the NCAA and schools have benefited from players for years, and then now over the past few years they've been able to be paid, right? These players, I mean, they don't.
But the university's not paying them,
right? They don't owe anybody anything. This is their career, and if for some reason they do get injured, they are missing out on money. A lot of these players don't really come from anything. They need that money to help themselves and their families. So, yeah, I mean, maybe you have to have a conversation with one of your teammates, but I would hope that your teammate would understand the position that player is in and be okay with it.
Yeah, I'm certainly not suggesting that a player should miss out on a playoff game or a national championship game.
These bowl games don't mean anything.
Not really.
Depends who you ask.
Well, if you ask the university.
But the university's still getting paid.
But it depends who you ask on the team. I bet you it doesn't mean something to maybe 7 or 8 guys. There's not 7 or 8 guys on a team. So I'm sorry. I'm all about the team. It'll never be any different to me. You can shoot me dead right here, and I'll never change my opinion. I don't care what anybody on the text line says about any of it. Some of them talk about, too many concussions. Yeah, you're right. I did, because I played every freaking game for my team. And I battled right to the very end, literally to the very end for my team. So missing a game for me is not a freaking option. Yeah, bottom line.
Jamie died on the ice. There's really no... There's really no comeback for that.
Jamie, you make a great point. I think there are some players that are playing for their future, and there are other players that know they have a future, and unfortunately, they're going to have to skip out on their teammates. Yeah. To make sure that they can provide for their family. Now, Marvin Harrison Jr., a different beast.
Don't have to worry about it.
His dad was in the NFL. It doesn't have to be his dad.
Pick any top 5 players on any college team. They're all making more money than we can ever imagine already.
Very true.
How about some of the players, though, that aren't making money?
That's exactly why the bowl game's important.
No, but they have a shot at being a certain draft pick, right? But they're not one of those NIL deal type guys.
Well, then, okay, right. So play,
but maybe not play, though.
I don't know.
I mean, if you have an opportunity, see, this is all about risk versus reward, right? If the risk far outsees the reward. So if you're going to be in the top 5, why would you risk playing in a meaningless bowl game and risk your NFL future? If you're going to be a 5th round, if you're projected to be a 5th round pick or a 4th round pick, and you have the opportunity to be a third-round pick if you put some more good tape on or the more film on, then you play in the game. You play in the game. The reward would be worth the risk in that category. By the way, I will not fault players for not playing in meaningless bowl games. I just won't. But I do think from a competitive standpoint, Jamie, you and I are more aligned than you think. From a competitive standpoint. Yeah. If I'm an NFL team, like Bo Nix, for example, Bo Nix is going to go to the NFL. Bo Nix is also going to play for Oregon against Liberty in the bowl game. He's going to play that game
because he needs to.
Think that, but I think that's. I also think there's something to the competitive nature of a player that speaks to me. But again, I'm not going to criticize anybody else that's not going to play.
And I think to your point, for Bo Nix, do you want to go out in your college career as a loser? No. Whereas some other players,
harsh, but he did lose the last
some other
game.
players don't feel that way. They look towards their future. I don't think that there's a concrete right or wrong answer to this. Yeah. It just depends on what kind of person you are. And if you're not that type of person that wants to play for your teammates, unfortunately, your teammates could be upset, like Jamie has alluded to. But some others could say, hey, I totally get it. If I was in your shoes, I'd do the exact same thing.
So Jamie's got a headache right now. We're about to give him a migraine over the next topic. Next on 101 ESPN. So just a quick shout out to head coach of City SC, Bradley Carnell. He won the MAC Sports Personality of the Year. They had the Joe Buck Awards last night as well, and It was a great event. And when it comes to the Missouri Athletic Club, they love to recognize those in the sports world locally here in St. Louis that have impacted their sport or their team in a profound way. And Bradley Carnell certainly did that for City SC. When it comes to the Missouri Athletic Club, though, you're a club member, you feel that there's always something going on there, whether you're going down there just to work out and take advantage of some of the amenities, or you're going to an event. The Missouri Athletic Club, man, they always do it top notch. That's my MAC, Missouri Athletic Club. 203, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. So yesterday, I looked at Jamie at one point. I saw that he was exasperated, and I said, Jamie, are we overblowing the Blues defensive system and how much that impacts the the on ice product, whether it's struggles or whether it's highlights for the Blues? Are we overblowing this? And you said, and I quote, Anthony, I'm so sick of talking about this. So of course we're going to talk about it again, but in a different way. So why do you think we get it so wrong when it comes to talking all offseason about the Blues defensive system and different things that they're going to do to adjust? Because last year didn't go well for the Blues at all. Why do you think we get it wrong when we start to talk about this defensive system and how it impacts the rest of the game for the Blues?
Well, a couple of things. If you look at the goals for the Blues in the month of November, it's almost double the goals from September. So if the defensive system was there to prevent them from scoring goals, it would probably hold true almost all season long. And it hasn't. What happened is exactly what I told you would happen, is once they figure out how they're supposed to play this system, they'll be able to generate more offense out of it because you're creating more turnovers. Ultimately, you're more compact, and you're not giving up the net front. You're not giving up the middle of the ice. And when teams try to come to that area, you have to play strong, and when you do, you'll create turnovers. And when you create turnovers, you can go on the offense. You see a lot of quick transition plays out of the Blues recently. A lot of the defensemen getting up involved in the rush, sometimes a little bit aggressively, too aggressive to where the pucks aren't quite in the area where you'd like them. So then a turnover or a bad play creates a odd man rush back the other way. But that's okay. It's part of the learning curve.
Yeah.
I think you'll see some of those guys dial it back. But when's the last time you've seen Colton Parayko play this good?
2019.
Both sides of the puck, right?
Yeah.
How about Nick Leddy? Nick Leddy's also turned into a one-man breakout again.
Sure.
It's because these guys are creating turnovers, and then they're able to take the puck and go with it. Mm-hmm. Colton Parayko takes the puck and goes with it. Guys, Corey Krug, Justin Falk, they do a real good job of being a part of that rush, and it creates more of an offensive attack out of it. So the defensive structure that they play in their own zone doesn't and shouldn't impact their offensive output as a group. And we talked about it yesterday. Maybe the worst kept secret of all is that several teams play the exact same way.
Right.
The exact same way. The Vegas Golden Knights, watch them play tonight. Watch their defensive zone. And then pause the screen or take a snapshot of it, picture, and then when the Blues play defensive zone, do the same. Watch. It's going to be almost identical to what they're doing. The Vegas Golden Knights have been just fine. Offensive. They won a Stanley Cup doing that. Mm-hmm. So I'm not worried about the system prohibiting the Blues from creating offense. Bad passes, lack of support, and turnovers are what prohibit the Blues from scoring goals.
When you say that, Jamie, it kind of goes to it's a reminder of how the more we get away from like the fundamentals of the game, and not from a player standpoint, from a team standpoint, all the things that matter, because we want to talk about the X's and O's of the game because that is more interesting. We tend to put more focus on what we think is interesting than what actually goes into winning and losing hockey games. And when you say things like don't turn the puck over, don't send a pass in the center of the ice where it could get picked off, all this, when we talk about those things, it doesn't sound as sexy as when you're talking about the F1 moving here, whatever. You're talking about the X's and O's.
Yeah.
So we tend to put more focus on what's interesting as opposed to what actually matters when it comes to winning and losing hockey games. And I feel like we do that for most sports, quite frankly.
Do we need to focus more on the Blues' neutral zone play and their regroups rather than the defensive system? Because I feel like that's where most of their turnovers are coming, which are leading to those odd man breaks and et cetera.
So when the Blues get in trouble is when they start playing east-west, which means side to side in the neutral zone. They're making passes board to board through the middle of the ice, and they don't necessarily have the puck support in order to do it. And that's when they help other teams by being able to create the turnover in the neutral zone. And look at the Buffalo game. The Buffalo Sabres have not been a good team this year, but they have a lot of really talented players who move extremely fast. And every time you turn the puck over in the second period, that game against Buffalo, They were going back into your end full speed, so much so that they erased a 3-goal deficit. So that's where the Blues cause their own headaches, is when they start going side to side in the neutral zone rather than moving the puck forward. Mm-hmm. And now there are times when you can go side to side, mm-hmm. when the pass is available, and you can make that tape-to-tape pass and send a guy in motion at full speed. Yes, take that. But again, that's taking what the opposition's giving you. The times where it doesn't make sense is when you have a back checker there, a defenseman that's holding its ice pretty well, and you're trying to sauce one or feed one through the triangle of the stick and the player, and it gets picked off. And now you have 2 guys or 3 guys that are busting up the ice. Maybe you're a defenseman who's trying to join the rush, and now they have to all hit the brakes at some point and try to back check because the other team now takes the puck, and with one quick pass, it's an outnumbered situation going back in on your goaltender. Yep. So that, to me, is where the Blues get themselves in the most hot water, is going side to side in the neutral zone or side to side at the far blue line, rather than advancing it north.
If they are going to go, east-west and whatnot, instead of going north and south in that neutral zone, would you like to see like an area pass, maybe a cross-corner dump in, that like a soft chip into the far corner that would sort of, get the forwards going and maybe create some ozone pressure?
Well, look, that's the one thing that Craig Berube tries to remind some of his very dynamic players is not asking you to dump the puck in every single time, but when you don't have a play, don't force it. And someone like Jordan Kyrou, who has learned, and you watch him recently, he's done a much better job of it, is he gets up to the blue line with full speed, realizes there's really nowhere to go, so he'll chip the puck in but go get it himself. So imagine being a defenseman where you're trying to match speed with a guy like Jordan Kyrou. 1, that's a very difficult thing to do. 2, you can't interfere with the player anymore. Subtly, but not really, without getting a penalty. So if Jordan Kyrou's coming at me full speed, let's say it's 22 miles per hour, he's coming straight at me, and I'm trying to defend him. I have to try and hold the blue line. I'm not giving up ice, because if I give up ice, Jordan Kyrou's a dangerous player. And if it's not him, maybe it's Braden Shen he passes to because he has an extra second or a second and a half. So now I'm trying to gap up. When I gap up, imagine me being backwards, pushing on my heels, now going forward to defend, and Jordan Kyrou puts the puck past me, moving at 22 miles per hour. What are my options?
Probably to take him out and take a penalty.
Take a penalty or I'm screwed, right? This is why that play can be effective. This is why Craig Berube says when you don't have anything left, just advance the puck behind the defenseman. You might have a line mate that's able to slash through there and pick up the puck, which is just as effective, or you yourself, the individual. Just chip it in, a little shimmy shake like a wide receiver off the line and down past. The guy has to take a penalty, or he has to let you get the puck. And it doesn't mean you're going to get a goal-scoring opportunity, but you get possession of the puck now, and now they're all bailing back towards the front of their net. Now you can establish that offensive zone time. Yeah. So that's why it's important that you always advance the puck. Sometimes on the power play, you'll see the drop pass play, but that's a whole other ball of wax that we're dealing with there. But for me, the most part, if you have good puck support and good speed through the neutral zone, you shouldn't have to be drop passing it or moving the puck laterally, per se.
That's Jamie Rivers. That's Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN Blues. Golden Knights pregame starting right here on 101 ESPN at 7 o'clock. How much of last season's struggles are on Oli? Marsh had an interesting conversation with an acquaintance yesterday about this that kind of sparked a good conversation in the office. We'll get to it next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, we always talk about mentality and everything that it's done for us from a health standpoint of feeling more energetic, and we've lost some weight and all this stuff. I'm going to take it down a little bit of a vain thing here. Having to get dressed up in a suit every other night and try to look as fashionable as possible, mentality sure has helped me there. I look better. I feel better.
You do look good, kid.
It's a lot easier. And you know what? Sometimes it's not always just about the physical side. Sometimes it's the mental side, too.
Yeah.
You want to look good, feel good, and just operate well through everyday life. And they've helped me a lot with that.
Well, I mean, it's all about results, right? I mean, you can talk about the process, but if you're not seeing the results in the process, you tend to give up. when it comes to mentality, Jamie, you had said to me, because you looked at me at one point and said, look, I went through the same thing where you're feeling down, you're not getting in the gym, you're a competitive guy, typically athletic, and you're not feeling like you're giving your all. So come with me, and that's what you said to me. Let's go to mentality, and I did. And the program is fantastic. Now, when you're talking about the results, you're talking about feeling great. There's no price on that. You start to feel good. You start to operate that way. You start to excel in all aspects of your life, and everything kind of falls into place. And yeah, you look great in those suits. So if you want to look great in a suit or whatever you dress for when it comes to work, Speedo, you can do that too. Head down to Mentality, 2 locations, one in South County, one in Chesterfield, or visit them at lowtstl.com. lowtusa.com. lowtusa.com. Tell them Jamie and Anthony sent you. It's Mentality. So, Marsh, you were talking to an acquaintance, a buddy, about some of the things that, and this is always good. We tend to do this where we're talking to a friend or an acquaintance and just kind of picking their brain on some of the things they might be hot on the St. Louis sports scene. And Marsh, your buddy kind of brought up an interesting point that sparked a good discussion in the office.
Yeah, he was talking to me last night and just sort of wanted to know why a lot of fans have frustrations towards Oli Marmol and maybe not so much towards the players, because we tend to look at a team and when they struggle, I think the first thing we think of is, hey, fire the manager and not keep those players accountable.
Right.
Now, there are listeners and fans that definitely have certain players that they have a disdain for and whatnot, but I think most of the conversations that at least we've seen on the text line and on our in the snake pit have centered around Oli Marmol maybe not being the guy for the Cards.
I have a very kind of simple thought on this, and it goes to human behavior. When we watch a game, we know consciously or subconsciously, even though you have the guy that's like, if I didn't tear my rotator cuff in high school, I would have been Cy Young winner at this point.
You screwed me over.
Yeah. You always have those guys.
If I didn't get moved
always
to
the injury.
second base.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I'm pretty honest with my inability when it comes to the baseball field. But when we watch a professional game, subconsciously or consciously, we know we can't do what Shohei Ohtani can do. We know we can't do what Patrick Mahomes can do or Connor McDavid can do. But we can always put ourselves in the shoes of the manager, the head coach, the GM. They typically look like us. They make decisions that we often run ourselves through during games. So we're more critical of the manager and the head coach, more so than we are the player. That's just my thought on it. I think it goes down to human behavior. So when it comes to Oli, or any manager for that matter, if we're diehard baseball fans, and most of us are in St. Louis, we put ourselves through those scenarios. And if we would have done something differently, obviously we're critical of Oli. Even if the decision would have been right had the player executed, we still pin that on the manager. We still pin that on the head coach. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like play calling in football. If the quarterback threw the ball to the right spot, it's a first down. Or if the running back did not miss the hole that he was supposed to go, and there was a lane there, but he bounced it outside and got tackled, we blame the OC. Why didn't you throw it in that spot? We're not blaming the running back. So I think that is why we typically tend to blame the manager and the GM more, and I think media members do it too. I think there are media members that really harp on the manager and the GM and the head coach or the play caller because, quite frankly, it's easier. It's easier to talk about their missteps than it is maybe a player's.
Yeah, so the discussion here is, whether we should blame the manager or blame the players. And you've mentioned it a couple of times now, the management. So why don't we focus on that for a second? Because Oli Marmol could only manage the team he was given.
True.
And Oli Marmol, to what we know, being a younger manager, had some input on his lineup, but ultimately did not have ultimate input on his lineup. So now, the players that are being played or put into certain situations may not actually be his first choice, but they're playing anyways because, there's an order of how we do things around here.
Or that's what's available on the roster.
Or it's available on the roster.
Yeah.
And then when the player isn't good enough in that spot, it shows bad on Oli Marmol. So then Oli Marmol goes to put the next guy in, but he doesn't have anybody better. Mm-hmm. You're going to replace Newtbar with Alec Burleson? That's not an upgrade. You're going to replace Dylan Carlson with Jordan Walker? I mean, defensively, not an upgrade. Like, it wasn't a whole lot of spots. Like, Taylor Motter played how many games last year?
Right.
Too many?
No.
Okay, I'm not trying to be a jerk to Taylor Motter because I'm happy that he got to play, but this is my point. And in your rotation last year, when the rotation failed, what did you have? So what the hell is Oli Marmol supposed to do? Mm-hmm. Every fifth day, he has to put somebody on that bump. And at one point, none of them were doing the job. Monty at one point was your most steady guy. Then it was pockets. Michaelis had a couple of good games, and Matt's had a good 4-game run. And, Zach Thompson, once he was allowed to pitch past 4 innings, he was okay. Yeah, but so what do you do? So if you're Oli Marmol and this is what you've been given, there's only a certain limit of what you can attain with those guys. Mm-hmm.
How much does analytics play into some of these decisions too? Because
probably too much sometimes.
I mean, a lot of people are wanting that gut feel move, right? But I feel like now baseball has turned into, okay, we have all these different situations that the computer has played out for us. Mm-hmm. And if this situation pops up, we're automatically doing that. Does he have control of that? I mean, ultimately he does, but does he though?
Well, what do we say about analytics here on this show? I'm not going to say across the board at 101 or across the board in media. What does this show say about analytics? It's just information.
Yeah, it's information.
It's information. So, Marsh, to your question, Oli is given the information. It is up to him to interpret the information and then make the decision. And the decision may have been the wrong one and the right result occurred. And all we do is talk about the result. What a great move. It's actually the wrong decision, but it worked out. Conversely, he makes the right call in a situation. Player doesn't execute. Result is bad, therefore the decision was bad. I don't think we know how to properly evaluate a manager, especially when we don't have all the information, what analytics, who's available, all that. But
who's calling the shots?
Who's calling the shots? But
that was my point.
About the analytics?
Like, if he ends up making a move from a gut feel standpoint, we all think, hey, that's probably the best move here, and it doesn't work out, then maybe he is at fault not only for the game, but with upper management, too, because they said, hey, we have all these analytics and everything, and you went against that. Why are you doing that?
So if it were me...
I'm not saying that's what's happening, but
the
it
flip
could
side
be.
of that is, how about the times he's guessed right?
Right.
Does he get extra bonus for that? Does he get little gold stars because his gut feeling was better than the analytics?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I think...
I'm not saying it's, I'm just saying overall.
But I think this is part of the conversation when it comes to analytics, though. How much our front office is saying, just do this. Because some of the analytics may say 52% of the time this works out.
And that tells you should do it.
Right?
But it does tell you.
If the front office, I'm not talking about Cardinals or just any front office, 52%, that means you should do it, as opposed to 80% of the time, this is the outcome. If it's 80% of the time, if I'm the manager, I'm just going to go with the 80%. I'm not going to overthink this one. But if it's in that 50 to 60 range, 50 to 65% range, hell, if it's 60%, that means 40% of the time it doesn't work out. Then it's up to me as a front office to trust the guy that I put into place. I don't know what the dynamics are in the use of analytics, Cardinals management, and the front office. I don't know what they tell Oli to do. I know what I would do. I would say, hey, we put you in a spot because we believe that you're capable of managing a game. We're also going to provide you with information. How you interpret that information is up to you. Hopefully you make enough right calls. That means we made the right decision on you, and you made the right decision on the team. But if I'm overseeing him and saying, well, 55% of the time it worked out, why did you go the other way? Well, my God, man, 45% of the time it doesn't work out.
Right.
But so it's up to Oli, or any manager for that to make the right decision in that moment.
So here's what. One, I agree with you. Here's what it should be, is the front office is tasked with putting together the best roster that they can from a financial standpoint, from a drafting standpoint, all that stuff.
Right.
And then the moment that spring training is over, you have to hand the team over to the manager. You have to. Here's the analytics department. They're at your disposal. Anything you need from them, you draw from that.
Right.
I'm going to be up in the press box over here, and when you need me, I'm there. And if we need an upgrade or a player transaction, we'll discuss things. And of course, these guys are going to meet probably on a daily basis, quick phone call, kind of a little summary of the day before, all that. But ultimately, all roster decisions, everything should fall on the manager's plate. That way there, if the manager fails, you absolutely know that he's not the guy.
Yes.
But how can you say he's not the guy or he's failed if you haven't given him 100% control of his own situation?
Right.
That's the only part that I don't know how the pie chart is cut up down there, whether it's front office 80%, Oli 20, or if it's 50-50, if it's 60. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
But I do know that Oli is not operating just on what he feels.
Yeah.
There's other input.
I saw a tweet last night. I thought this was interesting, especially for this conversation as it pertains to analytics. This is from a 1979 IBM presentation. A computer can never be held accountable. Therefore, a computer must never make a management decision.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I think that's well said. That goes into what we're saying. I think that's perfect. You nailed that, bringing that up. The computer spits out the information. How we interpret that information is on us, because we're human beings, because we're flawed. But we also have instincts, and we also have experience, and we're put in a certain situation to make decisions based on that experience and that knowledge and that decision making. But the computer is what the computer is. It's kind of like when we say we're only responsible for what we say, not for what you hear. So if you disagree with one of our takes and you blindly shut off your ears and you start arguing or blasting us on the text line, we might not even be making that same argument. But that was on you for hearing something that was much different than what we were saying. The information is there. The computer spits out that information. We're human beings. We're in place to make these decisions. If we make enough right ones, then we get to keep our jobs. If not, then, we're looking for work.
And bottom line, to sort of wrap all this up, Oli puts players in certain situations. It is up to them to execute.
Correct.
If you bring in Drew Verhagen, he throws 4 straight balls and walks a guy, that's not Oli's fault, is it?
No,
for bringing
to
him in?
some degree, yes,
Well,
because
maybe,
he's in a leadership spot.
But again,
what if he has nothing else to grab?
Exactly.
And that's what's put in the cupboard.
That goes
if you have
in
nothing left in the fridge to eat except for, a box of, I don't know, something you don't like.
Right.
You got to eat, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll eat this.
Yeah, if you didn't stock up last time and you're looking at some questionable food that's left over and you get a stomach ache, that's on you. You didn't shop right. Or shop at all.
But what if you don't shop for yourself? Then whoever shopped for you did it wrong.
Very true.
That's my point.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We're going to play Prove Me Wrong next.
All right, Anthony, the weather's getting colder outside. It's getting a little chilly. Not FanDuel. FanDuel's America's #1 sportsbook, and they stay red hot with their promotions. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. So that is $150, and all your team has to do is win.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the spread. You don't have to worry about covering. You don't have to worry about covering the spread and the total. No, just have your team win, and then you collect $150 in bonus bets, again, with any $5 winning money line bet at FanDuel. And then you can use that money to play the spreads, the player props, the unique same-game parlay opportunities that FanDuel has. Maybe you're diving into the futures market, the MVP. Hey, I think that Dak Prescott's going to win the MVP. I like the odds. You could play that. Visit FanDuel.com/fast. Again, FanDuel.com/fast. Then you can take advantage of that $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet at FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL.
21 and over, present in Illinois. First online real money wager only. $5 pregame money line wager required. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues are back in action tonight, taking on the Vegas Golden Knights once again as they defeated Vegas on Monday by a final score of 2-1 in overtime. Pre-game for tonight's game is at 7. Puck drop is at 8. And you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. We will talk with Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider from The Athletic, at 4:30. So stay tuned for that. But coming up next, we have Prove Me Wrong. So if you want to prove Anthony or Jamie wrong in this next segment, send a text our way to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Prove Me Wrong coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, independent American standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong.
Typically a fan favorite here. Prove me wrong. You have an opportunity to send in your statement via the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646. And you have an opportunity, or we do at least, to prove you wrong. Welcome to the law firm of Rivers and Stalter and the honorary Judge Andrew Marsh taking his place.
All right, gentlemen, the court is in order. Let's start off with the 618 Prove Me Wrong. St. Louis people are easier on Doug Armstrong than they are on John Mozeliak.
I don't think there's any question of that. I think they're way easier on Army than they are on Mo. Now, what the reasoning behind that is? Probably because he landed Ryan O'Reilly and because he brought back David Braun a couple of times and, won the most recent championship. And, well, you go through all of the Mo issues from a trade standpoint, and things haven't really gone that well. In free agency, they like to pin on him, even though it's DeWitt's money. I absolutely think that. Wait, I'm supposed to be proving him wrong.
You just did Jamie. Yeah.
That was terrible.
It was great if it was the other argument. Yeah.
I should have settled. I shouldn't have gone to court. I should have settled.
Yeah.
You know what? My client is guilty as sin. Let's just settle this. Yeah, that's my fault.
Time served. Right.
Okay.
That started good.
Let's clear the slate here.
Uh-huh.
No, you already lost.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
We're moving on.
That's what I'm saying. Let's clear the slate. Yeah. Let's clear the slate and
let's try to
let's move forward here.
Prove me wrong. This one comes from Swan. Prove me wrong. Nolan Gorman is just another Tyler O'Neill due to his constant back injury. I don't believe this, but saw someone in the snake pit say it.
Yeah. First of all, you got a big bopping left-handed bat out there. He's had a couple of little small back issues, but the moment he could return, he did. He didn't have any specifications on whether it was grass, turf, concrete. Doesn't care. That guy will line up anywhere and bash baseballs right in your face is what he'll do. So as far as comparing him to Tyler O'Neill, one thing, he's also younger than Tyler O'Neill as he hits the major leagues. And I think that this issue is going to be resolved quickly. I think that maybe it was the most he's been used in a season since God knows when. So I don't think this back issue is something that you need to worry about. All you need to worry about is throwing a fastball down and low, and he's going to take that thing yabo on you.
Nice. Good rebound, Jamie.
Thank you. I'm blacked out.
From the 314, Prove Me Wrong. Speaking of Tyler O'Neill will be a St. Louis Cardinal next year because he has no trade value right now.
Well, I think we can all agree here in the courtroom that he doesn't have any trade value, but no, there's no way that Tyler O'Neill is still on the roster. Did you hear John Mozeliak the other day? I'll tell you what a GM is not going to do when a player is going to be around. Say that he's on the trade block. You may get reports that a player is on the trade block, but to hear it right from the horse's mouth, that's a clear indication that John Mozeliak and the Cardinals have already moved on from Tyler O'Neill. It's a last-ditch effort to say, hey, don't forget we got a sale going on. Might want to stop on by. Knowing that you're probably not going to get anybody to come in to your sale, but you're gonna have to take that merchandise to the dumpster when it's all said and done. But there's no way that John Mozeliak says that Tyler O'Neill is on the trade block and he still is on the team for next year. I needed that, Jamie.
That was good.
Anthony, you've been doing pretty bad lately, and prove me wrong. So
What the hell?
well, I'm just stating the facts. You went 0 for 5 the other day.
Well, that's because Dan kept. He just did the same thing. He did the thing I just did, which I forgot what game we were playing.
One.
I know. I want to earn it, Marsh.
Stop yelling at me. From the 636, prove me wrong. Mizzou should be the number one destination of any portal running back. Beatty and Schrader prove that under Drink's system, a number one running back is going to thrive.
Yeah, any running back that wants to look at what Georgia has been able to do with their running backs or Texas has been able to do with their running backs could also make the same claim of like, hey, look at Bijan Robinson, who was a top 10 pick, and then Roschon Johnson was still picked up by the Bears, and he has carved out a backup role in Chicago, and he was the backup to Bijan Robinson at Texas. There's other universities that can claim to be running back U. It's not just Mizzou. So to have them number one when it comes to that category, just because Schrader, great story, walk on, led the SEC in rushing, great story, but there's other universities that can produce running backs as well.
Did he get that right? Read it again. Read to prove me wrong again.
Mizzou should be number one.
The Mizzou, yeah, that's what it was.
Okay.
Mizzou should be number
I thought
one
it was,
for running backs.
Number one. And I was
No,
like,
should
Anthony
be,
went the
yeah.
wrong way on the one-way street
If I
again.
did, Jamie, I would say suspend me from the law firm, and I'll walk out.
I had to make sure, we got to double check.
I appreciate you.
Two more here from the 314. Prove me wrong. Dak Prescott is the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
Oh, my God. Have you seen the list of teams that he just stacked up the numbers on? There's somebody called Matthew Padford. What was that? Pad Statford? What'd you call him before?
Yeah, Matt Padford.
Yeah, that guy, okay? Same thing for Dak Prescott right now. You just wait till he plays somebody that's actually any good at all. I am not sold on Dak Prescott as an MVP at all. I think that there's been an easy, lighter schedule for him. He's been the benefactor of that. And when you look at their upcoming games here, if you look at their losses, first of all, they got the Eagles and the 49ers are maybe the only two good teams that they've played against this year, and those are losses. And Dak didn't do very good in either of those games. So now they got the Eagles, the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Lions coming up. No chance. Dak's going to fall right out of the MVP race. Smoke and mirrors, baby.
From a statistic standpoint, passing yards, he's not the best. If you want to count how many touchdown passes he has, sure, he's the best. From a QB rating, not the best. So
It's not there.
we're going with the stats
Beat
here.
up on the Panthers, beat up on the Commanders. Like, come on, man. Beat up on the Rams. Come on.
By the way, it's Pad Statford.
Yeah, whatever.
That's
Matt
what it was.
Padford.
I thought it was
It's his
Matthew
brother.
Stanford.
No, it was, yeah, that's it.
Stanford. I didn't say that. Somebody else did. Who did that? Was that you?
No, you had him. You had him going to Stanford.
That's
Yeah.
right. So it was me.
Yep.
Oh, damn it.
All right, last one here from the 314. Prove me wrong. Monday night's win in Vegas was Jordan Binnington's greatest game as a Blue.
Well, let's just go back a little bit here. Although it was a good game, greatest game as a Blue? How about, let's start with this. How about his debut as a St. Louis Blue? Oh, I don't know. How about a shutout right there? Bam. Then how about the Dallas Stars? Yeah, you know what, Anthony? I got way more to say.
Okay, we'll do that next then. Was it Binnington's best game as a Blue? Some are arguing that. You want to chime in on this? You can. Leave us a mic drop via the 101 ESPN app. Next on 101 ESPN.
If you're looking to save money on your car or your home insurance, please give my friend Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency a call. They work alongside Allstate Insurance, and I can tell you this, that you're going to get the personal attention that you need from the Bibb Agency. If you've ever had an insurance claim or something happen before, it's stressful. There's a lot of anxiety to it. There's a lot of things that you don't necessarily understand. Sometimes you don't even know exactly what your coverage is. Maybe you're out of pocket. You're not sure. Well, don't worry about it. You've got Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency are just a phone call away from helping you. And I can't say that about my former agents because I don't even know them. There was a 1-800 number, and you'd call and you'd try to figure out, get your policy, and they'd have to look through it at the same time as you and try and figure out if you're covered, how much you're covered, what's going on. With the Bibb Agency, they answer the phone and they get right to your policy and know exactly what's going on, and they know exactly how to help you, and that is why I choose Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency. They're going to battle for the best rates, too, for you, as long as you get that great customer service. And give Tracy a call today for a free non-committal quote. That number's 314-328-4260. That's 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
Actually, June 12th, 2019 was Jordan Binnington's best game as a goalie, as a Blue. I mean, okay. I like Stanley Cups, guys, okay? I'm sorry, but that's the best one. Shove it.
Yeah, Anthony. Your question. Take it.
Wasn't my question.
I don't know. I'm blaming you.
Someone from the text line. Hey, 'tis the season of giving, and 101 ESPN wants to give you free Cardinals tickets. That's right. Text in now. 314-399-9646 to score a Cardinals holiday pack of tickets just for answering this question correctly. One former Cardinal signed a minor league deal with the Nationals today. Who is it? Text in the name. Up. Text in the name, unless you're Jamie. 314-399-9646 to the Air Comfort Service text line, and you could score a Cardinals holiday pack of tickets. Today, we're giving away the bobblehead ticket pack. This 5-game bobblehead pack features tickets to 5 different home games next season that include great bobblehead giveaways, including Waino and Louie, Hall of Fame car, and more. A Hall of Fame car. So you have an opportunity to text in right now to win that bobblehead Cardinals ticket pack. The Cardinals bobblehead pack, along with all the Cardinals holiday ticket packs, are now on sale, with some starting at just $55. Learn more about Cardinals holiday ticket packs at 101ESPN.com. That mic drop was from Robert because we were playing Prove Me Wrong, and somebody texted in that the Binnington performance the other night against Vegas was his best game as a Blue. Jamie, you said you had more on this.
Yes.
Mine is the Dallas game. Game 7.
There you go.
Game 7 against Dallas. We call it the Pat Maroon game. I think we should call it the Pat Maroon Jordan Binnington game. Because without Binnington doing what he did, Ben Bishop and the Stars were advancing. I thought that was Binnington's best performance. That was when I affectionately called him a psychopath.
Yes,
because he stood there when Maroon made the shot and he just... All right, and skated off the ice. That was it. Like that's a true psychopath.
That's
that dude was so locked in.
At that point.
He was so locked in. He wasn't going to give a fist pump or anything. Just 2 taps, boom, on each post and out.
Yeah. That was
to me was his best performance.
You know what, Anthony? I forget about that. You never forget about that, which is great because I always forget about it. But you're so right. I remember, seeing it live and watching it, and I'm like, you're looking for him to charge down the ice or so, and he just tap, and it was just like, all right, on to the next series.
Which is incredible.
I couldn't do that
because his mind was already on, as we know, San Jose. Because in the Western Conference Finals, I don't know if he knew it was San Jose at the time. Didn't matter.
I forget.
I think he did.
I think San Jose got done before because we were Game 7. I think they did.
Right. So that for me, that was Binnington's best performance. Before we get to Jamie's, let's hear from John because we asked for some mic drops. Here's John.
Good afternoon, guys. Great show.
Thank you.
Hey, let's start off hot here. I agree with Jamie Rivers. Those guys should play in the bowl games. They take the NIL money. Yes. They should play in the bowl games. Second, Anthony, come on. These backs at Mizzou are not 5-star backs like the University of Georgia or the University of Texas get. They have worked from nothing to become noticeable. Mizzou has a great program for running backs. And finally, was this Binnington's best game? No way. Guys, come on. It was a good game, but it wasn't his best game ever.
Okay. I love how John doesn't give us his choice of best game ever. It's the greatest.
John, we agree with you. Give us what the best game is.
That's even better that way. He left it a cliffhanger.
Yeah, he did.
Left it a cliffhanger. Much respect for that.
I also love it. John, with all due respect, I mean, I love Schrader's story. Mizzou has a great program for running backs.
Ish. Yeah, if you squint. So we go back to Jordan Binnington, but John took us off the rails, which I always appreciate.
Yeah, I loved it, though.
I appreciate that very much. But for me, Jordan Binnington, there's defining games. Will we call them the greatest games or his greatest game? I think that's tough to define. I think the easiest way to look at it is that the Game 7 against the Boston Bruins in the Stanley Cup Final, I believe has to be at the top of the hill here because
of the magnitude,
the pressure, like what all of it encompassed. You just came off a bad game as a team at home where you should have wrapped it up in 6, and there's 400,000 people downtown St. Louis. It didn't happen. You're heading to the Boston Garden, which is an unfriendly spot, to say the least, to play a playoff game, let alone the biggest playoff game. And in the first period, it looked a lot like it did the other night in Vegas. The Boston Bruins had some unbelievable grade A scoring chances, and Jordan Binnington was there to stop the puck. And then the Blues go down and score a goal or 2 goals in the first period, and that was kind of it for the game. Like, that was kind of it. You knew that Binnington was not going to be beat, certainly not by anything easy, and then you get to hoist the Stanley Cup after. So although the other night was a great win against the Vegas Golden Knights, had it been in Game 7 in the conference final, because they can't meet in the Stanley Cup final, maybe you look at that as a comparable. I just think that the amount of pressure and the stress and the anxiety that was on that one individual for that Game 7 in the Stanley Cup final outweighs, what happened the other night. I'm thrilled that Jordan Binnington played the way he did. Obviously, I mean, I love watching. I love calling those games. It's a lot of fun, but I don't think it was the greatest game.
Here's Dylan, who left us a mic drop.
If it wasn't for Jordan Binnington, we wouldn't have a Stanley Cup in our franchise. You can't say that some random Monday night in the middle of the season was Jordan Binnington's best game of his career whenever the dude played in Game 7 of Stanley Cup and is the reason we won that game. Not to mention the Game 7 that went to double overtime against the Stars and the other playoff series whenever the Avs had to take him out to surpass us. No. His best game of his career was probably Game 7 of Stanley Cup. I mean, when is it going to be higher stakes than that?
So we can all agree that Monday was not his best. The conversation, I think, is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Game 7 against Boston or Game 7 versus Dallas?
Yeah.
Because Game 7 against Boston, you won a cup. But I'd be willing, I think I could make a pretty compelling argument that he was even better in Game 7 against Dallas from an individual standpoint.
Maybe. But the thought I have behind it is that the Blues had already been to a Western Conference final a couple times in recent years. So it's like there's pressure, but, if we've,
Yeah.
Stanley Cup final Game 7, man, when you can, the trophy is in the building. You can envision your name going on the cup. You can envision drinking champagne out of that bad boy. You're thinking about a parade. I know Jordan Binnington may say he wasn't thinking about any of those things. You are. And then you get into the first period and you're playing the Bruins, who have a stacked team. That's a lot of pressure, man.
You don't get there without Game 7 against Dallas.
I agree, but you don't win the cup without Game 7 against the Bruins.
True.
I would argue.
Both are true.
That's why
it's a fun argument.
Chronologically, you win, okay? I get it, because yours happened first.
So I would argue that the Blues defense actually were better in that Game 7 than essentially Jordan Binnington. They played 2 overtimes, and Dallas only had 30 shots.
You know who was better in Game 7 against Boston? The offense.
Well, what I'm getting at is Jordan Binnington. Honestly, that game should have been a 1-0 game. Colton Parayko turned the puck over. It hit off his stick.
It hit off the referee.
Went right to Matt Zuccarello, and he ended up
had
scoring.
money on the game, I heard.
Blues should have won that 3.
Thankfully did.
Blues should have won that 1-0 in regulation, and then you don't get the wraparound saves that he makes. Yes, that was a great performance. I actually think that, Bishop played better than Binnington in that game. He stopped 50 shots.
He did.
You bite your tongue.
He did.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying you bite your tongue.
He was fantastic in that game.
Did he make the last save?
No, he didn't.
No, he did not.
He did not, Anthony. God, you're good at this game.
Thank you.
Man, if only you could bring that same type
Don't you dare.
flavor to prove me wrong.
Oh, damn. He does. Stop it. Don't harass my partner.
Hey, don't worry about Marsh. He's got what's coming to him later.
He sure does.
We got Gauntlet next here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
categories, one challenger. Can you master the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit masstour.com.
It's the Fast Lane where it's 4:02. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsham, Anthony Stalter. And we welcome Joe to the program. Joe is our latest contestant in the Gauntlet. What's up, Joe?
What's up, guys? How we doing?
We're doing great. First time in the Gauntlet?
Yes, sir. First time.
All right, well, welcome in. Your choice. Would you like to take on Jamie Rivers, Marsh, or me today?
I think I will take on Jamie Rivers.
All right, Ribs is up.
All right, Joe. Good luck, my man.
Thank you, you too.
All right, so Jamie's going to make his way into the Cone of Silence. Joe, go ahead and tell Marsh to spin the wheel. We'll see what category you get.
Marshy, let's spin that wheel and let's make it baseball.
All right, there you go. What category do you not want?
NFL will be tough.
Okay. Jamie usually gets football. It won't be football, though. Oh, boy. How do you feel about hockey, Joe?
That's all right.
Okay. All right, I like it. It's fun hockey. This is the second hockey day in a row, right? Didn't you do hockey yesterday?
Is. Yeah.
All right, Joe, as you know, you get 4 questions, all hockey. Jamie's going to get the same 4 questions. Each question is worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. If you ask for the options, those questions become worth 1 point. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Here we go. Question 1. Who is the only player in Blues history to score over 1,000, imagine that's goals, obviously, 1,000 goals with the team? Who is the only player in Blues history to score over 1,000 goals with the team?
I'm going to need the options.
Brett Hull, Bernie Federko, Brian Sutter.
I'm going to go with Bernie Federko, final answer.
Question number 2. In his 16-year NHL career, Derek Brassard played for 10 different teams. The only time he appeared in the Stanley Cup final was in 2014 with which team?
Give me the options.
The options are the LA Kings, the New York Rangers, or the Tampa Bay Lightning.
I'm going to go with LA Kings, final answer.
Question 3, Joe. The 3 Plager brothers are Bob Barclay and which other Plager brother who played for the Blues, Minnesota North Stars, and the Atlanta Flames in his 9-year NHL career?
Man, I'll take the option.
Barry, Bill, or Benjamin?
Bill, final answer.
Question number 4. Anthony's San Jose Sharks
Come on, man.
are no longer last in the NHL standings. They recently surpassed which team?
Give me the options.
Options are the Anaheim Ducks, the Columbus Blue Jackets, or the Chicago Blackhawks.
Chicago Blackhawks, final answer.
All right. Well, welcome back, Jamie, in from the Cone of Silence. Joe, how you feeling?
Not good.
Okay. All right. Well, Jamie said, Jamie said,
Am I supposed to be in here
some
or not?
travel. Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know. My Ryder said I'm in. I didn't see any of the hand waving or anything. So.
Yeah, no, you're definitely in.
Okay.
Category's hockey today.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Pressure's on.
Category is hockey.
Yep.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Question 1, Jamie. Who is the only player in Blues history to score over 1,000 points with the team?
The only player in Blues history over 1,000 points. Wow. Could be Bernie Federko. Could be Brett Hull. Over 1,000 points. I don't think Bernie got to 1,000. So I'll go with Brett Hull. Final answer.
Question number 2. In his 16-year NHL career, Derek Brassard played for 10 different teams. The only time he appeared in the Stanley Cup final was in 2014 with which team?
Derek Brassard. 2014. That would have been the Ottawa Senators. Final answer.
Question 3, Jamie. The 3 Plager brothers are Bob, Barclay, and which other Plager brother who played for the Blues, the Minnesota North Stars, the Atlanta Flames in his 9-year NHL career?
Bill. Final answer.
And question number 4. Anthony's San Jose Sharks are no longer last in the NHL standings. They recently surpassed which team?
The Chicago Blackhawks. Final answer.
All right. Let's go over these. I'm glad this question worked out the way it did. So, as it's written, it says, who is the only player in Blues history to score over 1,000 with the team? Joe, I told you goals. It was points. I apologize.
Oh, boy.
No worries.
Joe, you took the options. You went with Bernie Federko. Jamie, you did not take the options. You went with Brett Hall. Correct answer is
Bernie Federko.
Thankfully, it was Bernie Federko. Joe, I apologize.
I think Bernie got there.
1,073.
There you go. So, Joe, you got it right anyways. I imagine you would have taken the option, so I'm glad you didn't get burned on my mistake on that. I apologize. But Joe's up 1-0. The 3 Plager brothers, Bob, Barclay, and which other Plager brother who played for the Blues, Minnesota North Stars, and the Atlanta Flames in his 9-year NHL career? Jamie, you said Bill. Joe, you said Bill. Correct answer is
Bill.
Jamie did not need the options for that one, though. So we're tied. We have a 2-2 tie. The San Jose Sharks, I'm not going to read it as it's written. The San Jose Sharks, not my team, Jamie, are no longer last in the NHL standings. They recently surpassed which team? Jamie, you said the Chicago Blackhawks. Joe, you said the Blackhawks. Correct answer is?
It is the Chicago Blackhawks.
Jamie did not need the options, though. So Jamie has a 4-3 lead over Joe. It comes down to this. In his 16-year NHL career, Derek Brassard played for 10 different teams. The only time he appeared in the Stanley Cup Final was in 2014 with which team? Jamie, you said the Ottawa Senators, who were not an option.
Ah, damn it.
We know they weren't an option because Joe asked for the options.
What were the options?
Kings, Rangers, Lightning.
Oh, it was the Rangers.
Joe said the Kings. If it's the Kings...
Sorry, Joe.
If it's the Kings... You couldn't just, you couldn't shut your mouth for 2 seconds, Jamie?
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, Anthony.
If it's the Kings, we've got a walk-off situation. If it's the Rangers or the Lightning, Jamie's going to win by 1. Joe.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose. Correct answer is?
I don't know, Anthony. What is it?
The New York Rangers. Jamie wins 4-3 today over Joe.
Nice job, Joe.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too, Joe. Hey, nice job. You said you didn't feel great. You got 3 of the 4 right. So nice work, man.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know much about hockey, so I'm okay with that showing. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt. Nice job.
Done.
All right, Joe, we'll talk to you. Thank you for playing.
Have a good one.
What year was the Senators that they made it to the final?
That,
2012?
was
2009?
It's like 2006.
Was it that far ago?
Yeah, because then you had the lockout, and before that it was the Lightning and the Flames. Then the year after the lockout was the Oilers and who did
Carolina Hurricanes.
Carolina won, and then the year after that
Iowa played who in the final? Was it Anaheim that year?
Yeah, so maybe that was 2007, 06-07.
God, I was way off. Oh, well, I was thinking in my head, Senators, Penguins. I didn't even think of the Rangers. I forgot he played there. Oh, well.
Yeah, either way, you won. Nice job there, Jamie. Nice job. Hey,
you... got lucky.
No.
Yeah, you got to admit when you get lucky. I got lucky. Joe had 3 right. I had 2.
He did. Use the options on all of them. He even said, too, he didn't want football, and it spun hockey. He goes, all right, I'll take hockey.
A great attitude. I love it.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, you could join the holiday spirit by helping us here at 101 ESPN support Operation Food Search throughout the month of December. We've partnered with STL Shirt Company to offer a special 101 ESPN online merch store this month, offering 101 ESPN t-shirts, hoodies, and hats, and more. Plus, we've brought back some of your favorite designs, including the Dunk shirts, the Be Patient shirts, as well as Jamie Rivers and Brad Thompson jerseys. Order any 101 ESPN swag during the month of December, and proceeds from all sales will go to support Operation Food Search. Visit the 101 ESPN online merch store now at 101ESPN.com. It's all powered by McBride Homes. We're going to talk to Jeremy Rutherford in about 20 minutes or so, ahead of tonight's Golden Knights and Blues rematch. So JR from The Athletic joining us at 4:30. But coming up next, Mo backs Marmol, but does his actions building a roster support that? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Cheap, fun. It's back. Dirt Cheap is hosting the Bourbon Raffle again this year. Visit any of your local Dirt Cheaps for a chance to win the opportunity to purchase some of the most sought-after, high-quality bourbons around. Enter to win now through December 14th. One entry per day per customer. See store for details, of course. But Dirt Cheap offers a full selection of bourbons from single barrel to high rye to small batch, all at Dirt Cheap prices. During December, Dirt Cheap has the St. Louis area's best prices on Maker's Mark and Wild Turkey 101. Order ahead. Have it delivered by using the Dirt Cheap app. These are all things that are available at Dirt Cheap, along with the best beers, the best wines, and any other spirits that you're requiring. They have you covered. They are your one-stop shop, especially right now when the holidays are here. You're going to love going in there. The customer service is fantastic, and the deals, you just can't beat the deals. Dirt Cheap is by far the best in the business, and they give you the best prices around. So please visit any Dirt Cheap. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. And remember, have fun, but be careful out there.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsham, Anthony Stalter, and
101 ESPN breaking news alert.
Apparently this just went down. The Yankees are on the verge of acquiring Juan Soto from the Padres. No word yet on what they're giving up, but it sounds like Juan Soto.
Is it the equivalent of Dylan Carlson?
I don't think so.
John Morosi does have names involved.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Would you like me to read those off?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the deal, as Jack Curry and Joel Sherman have reported, the Padres send Juan Soto and Trent Grisham to New York for Michael King, Drew Thorpe, Johnny Brito, Randy Vasquez, and Kyle Higashioka.
The catcher.
Yeah.
Higgy. You can just call it. You just call him Higgy.
Get Higgy with it. That's what they say.
That's right. Yeah. That's what the Yankees broadcasters call him, Higgy. Yeah. All right. So Trent Grisham said, so Soto and Trent Grisham go to the Yankees. That's interesting. Grisham's a really good player. Well, they've just remade their outfield. What did you say? I missed it.
Is it Robert's brother?
No, it's not Robert's brother. Why do you got to do that? Yeah, major breaking news here in the world of baseball.
Well, I thought the family connection would be quite interesting.
You got to be jokey over there in your shirt.
Thank you.
Your button-up shirt. Okay, so Soto and Grisham to the Yankees for Michael King, Drew Thorpe, Johnny Brito, Randy Vasquez, and Kyle Higgy, the catcher. That's a pretty good deal for the Yankees, I got to say. You knew the Padres. You know, it's funny. Dan McLaughlin, who filled in yesterday for the first couple of hours for you, Jamie, he was in the office. We were all in the office, and we saw Mike Schultz on MLB Network. And he was talking, obviously he's the new manager of the Padres, and he was talking to MLB Network, and they flashed the batting order for the Padres. And Dan was like, man, that's a pretty good order. I'm like, who's going to be there, though? Who's going to be there for Schulte? Because the Padres was everybody's mid-market wet dream. They went out there and they made all these splashy trades and made these big-time moves, and they built the dream lineup. Didn't even make the playoffs this year. There was going to be the bill was going to come due on that.
Well, they had to borrow $50 million to
that bill, and then the bill that is still coming, where you're going to have to free up salary.
Yes.
So Soto goes, Grisham goes. I don't think that this is going to be the last of it either, Jamie. I think we're going to see, Machado got a big deal. Jay Cronenworth got a big deal. I'm sure Darvish is still making some good money. They're going to have to make some moves here to free up even more than what we just heard. So for the Yankees, you got Judge, Stanton, Soto, and again, Grisham is a really good player. So your outfield /DH is set again.
Yeah,
provided everybody can stay healthy, which is the Yankees. For the Yankees, never the case.
It'd be interesting to see. What else have the Yankees added? Because last year was not a stellar year for the Yankees.
No, not at all.
So
Judge missed a lot of time. Stanton missed time.
It wasn't a good team.
No.
So just Juan Soto, that's it? You're right back on track? Back in the hunt?
Nope. They still need pitching.
So think of the money that they've spent right now.
Mm-hmm.
Look at their outfield. The total cost of goods for your outfield. That's a lot, man.
It is.
It's impressive. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, it's impressive. They get 3 great outfielders. Right. Great. But they're about as close to winning a division as the Cardinals are right now.
Mm-hmm. And they play in they play an actual division.
That's what I'm saying.
Where every team is trying.
I'm taking, the difficulty factor into consideration here.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Okay, so this actually plays in pretty well with our conversation that we're going to have. Mo backs Marmol. He has said as much, but does his actions in building a roster support that? Jamie, you kind of brought this up in a previous segment when you were talking about Marmol, and you're spot on. Marmol can only play the guys on the roster that he has at a given time, too. It's not just what the Cardinals do during the offseason. Mm-hmm. It's what they've done in previous off seasons, what they've done in previous drafts, what they've done in previous international free agent markets. This is the roster. And at times last year, especially in the second half, the roster wasn't good at all for Oli Marmol. Do you feel as though that Mo is backing Marmol from a roster standpoint?
Well, it wouldn't appear. Right now, he's certainly in a greater spot than he was last year at this time. But that's the problem, is last year at this time, you built the roster that won you less than 90 games this year.
Sure. So that wasn't a big hurdle.
No, it wasn't. And so the roster couldn't really support the manager. because it just wasn't a good enough roster. Now, John Mozeliak quoted Derek Gould. John Mozeliak is quoted in a Derek Gould article on saying these very words. I'm very bullish on him, talking of Marmol, but I also work for an owner, and we want things to get turned around. And by no means is this putting all the pressure on Oli. We are a team, and as a team, we have to change our trajectory. So hang on here. I want to isolate a couple things. I'm very bullish on him, but I also work for an owner. So read between the lines right there. He's saying, Ollie's my guy until he's not good, and then I'm going to fire him to save me.
Ollie's my guy. I picked him, but I also report to somebody. That's the way I take it.
Or it's almost like Ollie's my guy, but I work for an owner. And the owner didn't give me enough money last year, didn't give me the okay with the budget to go get a better roster. I know I'm reading really into this stuff, but sometimes when John Mozeliak talks, you have to really kind of unpack some of this. And he goes, and we want things to get turned around. So the ownership and Mo and Oli, or the ownerships and Oli and Mo want to turn it around, and Ollie's on watch right now. Like, who wants to get it turned around? All of them, or just the top brass?
I'm assuming all of them want to get it turned around.
I know, but the way it's worded, right?
Well, how about this? To your point, Jamie, does Oli have a contract after this year?
No. Does Mo? Yes.
He does. That's everything.
And he says, and by no means is this putting all the pressure on Oli. Well, of course it is. It's not putting the pressure on you, Mo. You have another year on your deal, from what I remember. It's not putting pressure on the DeWitts. They still own the team. They're still going to make money.
Right.
So the pressure is all on Oli Marmol. This is why I go back to my original comment earlier in the show, is if it's all on Oli, then let it be on Oli. Go put together the best roster you can. And I think that John Mozeliak right now, in compared to the last two off seasons, this is his best off season in the last 3 years.
It's at least his most aggressive.
Most competitive, okay? It's most aggressive. Whatever you want to work, it's better than it was last year and better than it was the year before.
He showed urgency this time around.
So I feel like at least he's giving his manager some of the pieces that he requires. Bringing back Yachty in whatever capacity as special assistant to the president of baseball operations. So basically whatever Yachty wants to do, he's going to do, which is fine.
Yeah.
And they've talked about him, outlining not just with the catchers, to be pitchers, catchers, position to play, you'd be around the clubhouse, all this stuff. Good. Give Oli some of the tools. Daniel Descalso back, great. People view it as pressure for Oli. Oh, he's right there. And Yachty's right there. The manager in waiting. No, this is what you call giving your manager a good supporting crew with him. It's not that the guys weren't qualified last year, but based on the situation, Matt Holliday changing his mind, and then the market kind of not having anybody, you ended up with what you ended up with.
Sure.
And Skip Schumacher leaving, obviously Skip knew what he was doing. He was probably a big help for Oli. There's no doubt he was. So now Daniel Descalso and Yachty, they have the opportunity to be a big help to Oli at the same time. So I feel like finally they're giving Oli like what he should have had.
Since you brought up Yachty, we haven't really touched on this that much because it's not that surprising outside of if you're just going to talk about his title. Yachty Molina officially is the special assistant to the president of baseball operations. So he's the special assistant to John Mozeliak. What does that mean? I don't know. It sounds like something from The Office, quite frankly, with Dwight Schrute. But Yachty's likely to be there for most of spring training. How much is he going to be there for the regular season? I have no idea. But that is something I think that is going to be worth following moving forward here, Jamie. How much is Yachty involved there in the regular season? We know he's going to be involved in the spring training.
Yeah, we do. And again, I think it's positive. All this stuff is positive. The more good baseball brains you can put in the room at the same time, the better it is for your organization. I don't view this as Oli trying to step in and take over the manager's job. If he wanted to do that, he would have said, I want to be the bench coach because I'm ready to be around for 162 games.
Right.
He didn't say that because he's not ready. Family commitments, whatever it is, he's just not ready for that yet. Great. He may never be ready for 162. I don't know. That's why I don't view it as a direct threat to Oli Marmol.
Sure.
I look at it as resources for a manager to pull from. Everybody says, well, he never played. Ollie never played the big leagues. Well, now he's got two guys that can help him that did. Daniel Descalso and Yadier Molina, amongst the other guys. You still have guys like Jason Isringhausen in the organization. You have guys. Willie McGee. You have guys that can help you.
Yeah.
So I look at it all as a positive thing. I look at the offseason so far in free agency that it's been a step in the right direction. I finally feel like Ollie's maybe getting the support that he should have had from the beginning.
That's Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Again, if you missed it earlier, John Morosi reporting that the Yankees and Padres are finalizing an agreement that would send Juan Soto and Trent Grisham to the Yankees in exchange for some just kind of a mixed bag of young players, prospects, as well as some major league players like Kyle Higgy for the catcher for the Yankees. So that deal is going to be finalized pretty soon here, according to John Paul Morosi. So that's some things are moving here in Major League Baseball. We're going to switch gears, though, talk about hockey. Blues, Golden Knights, round 2 is tonight, and we're going to talk to Jeremy Rutherford about that next on 101 ESPN.
Are you thinking about a remodel for your kitchen or maybe a remodel upgrade for your bathroom? Maybe you're not sure where to go. Let me help you out. Head down to E&B Granite. They are the best in the business. Located at 6135 Manchester Avenue. Please tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you in. They love hearing that. And I can tell you that the customer service is fantastic. From the moment you walk onto the showroom floor to the moment that everything's installed, you're going to absolutely love E&B Granite. They've got some of the best countertops in the business, whether it's granite, quartz, marble, or even soapstone. And they have all of that located right there on premise. You can walk through the aisles and take a look at what you like and what might go with whatever you're trying to accomplish in your kitchen or your bathroom. And you get to see it firsthand right there. And then when the technicians take over, it's fantastic. They measure everything perfectly. They pull everything out of your house without any damage or mess. They do a great job of that. And then their installation is bang on, and you will absolutely love the end result. So please call ahead, get an appointment. That number's 314-645-9300. That's 314-645-9300. Or you can visit them at enbgranite.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues are back in action tonight, taking on the Vegas Golden Knights, looking to pick up another win as they defeated Vegas on Monday by a final of 2-1 in overtime at tonight's game. Pregame starts at 7. Puck drop is at 8, and you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. We're going to dive into the Blues win on Monday and what we can look forward to tonight with our Blues insider from The Athletic, Jeremy Rutherford. That's coming your way next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
News, notes, and nuggets. It's time for the Rutherford Report with our Blues insider, Jeremy Rutherford. Brought to you by Scott Lee Heating Company, a proud Mitsubishi Electric Elite contractor.
With Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. Let's head to the 101 ESPN Celebrity Line. We're joined by our guy, Jeremy Rutherford, the Blues insider with The Athletic. What's up, JR?
Not too much, guys. How you doing?
Doing good, especially following that win the other night in Vegas. And, of course, Golden Knights now in town for round 2. Did you have an opportunity to catch up with the former captain of the Blues, Alex Pietrangelo?
Oh, my gosh, guys. 19 years covering the team, and this might be the most embarrassing moment I've ever had. The Vegas Golden Knights are on the ice today for their morning skate at 11:30. There's about 5 of us, like in the front row, kind of looking into the glass, watching them practice. And here comes a Golden Knights player, and we lock eyes, and I'm thinking, this is Petro. I flip him the bird. You know, I've known him since he was 18 years old, and he came to St. Louis. I thought, I don't know what got into me, but I just flip him the bird. The guy looks at me, freaks out, looks around to see what's going on. Who the heck just flipped me off? This wasn't Alex Pietrangelo. This is Nicholas Waugh. I had the wrong guy.
Oh, my God. JR, were you overserved at breakfast today?
That's incredible.
Yeah, overserved. Oh, it's so great. So the PR guy for Vegas, I know him, Nate Ewell, and I explained to Nate, oh, my gosh, what just happened? And so about 20, 30 minutes later, we're in the locker room, and he goes, Jeremy Rutherford, Nicholas Waugh. Nicholas?
That's incredible. Obviously,
yeah, we told Petro about it too, and he said that's okay. He's French. That's how they say hello to each other.
There you go. Obviously, Waugh was okay. No hurt feelings.
Everything was good. Yeah, he actually told me that George McPhee, I think it was, or Kelly McCrimmon, actually did the same thing. Thought that he was Petro. Look, he's 6'4", and he's got a big brown beard. Looks just like him. So that's my excuse.
Hey, you could be called worse things than Alex Pietrangelo.
Yeah,
or mistaken for it. Yeah, that's incredible.
That is incredible. Well, JR, live and learn, right, buddy?
Yeah.
Right. Keep the bird down.
My goodness.
At least until you know the intended target.
Look twice before you bird.
That's right.
Hey, JR, a lot of friendly discussion, friendly debate today on the airwaves, and the last couple of days, really, about the performance of Jordan Binnington. Some people saying it's the best game that he's ever played as a Blue. Anthony and I feel differently. But what's your opinion? The other night you saw that game. It's a pretty darn good game, but you've also seen him play some other really good games, too.
Yeah, well, here's the way I look at it. Something I've learned over the years being a sports writer is you can make a proclamation, and then if somebody says, yeah, well, what about that game February 24th, 2021, then you just go, oh, yeah, that one, too. So, I think in the meantime, like this game the other night, that was just absolutely off the charts. And, so I wrote that this was the best game he's played since Game 7, and obviously you make the case because that's the Game 7 Stanley Cup, so much circumstance on the line there. But I will say, we're in the locker room today, the Vegas locker room, and Barbashev said the same thing. Ivan Barbashev, the former Blue, he said, look, I've seen this guy play a ton of games, and I think that was his best since Game 7. Now, you might be a little biased if you're Barbie, right? Because he got thwarted by Binnington twice the other night, right, Riv?
Yeah, I was actually going to follow up with that. Did Barbie ever apologize for trying to run over Jordan Binnington and remove his head from his body?
Yeah, we didn't ask him that. We should have, because obviously everybody remembers the play the other night. Probably should have been a penalty. Barbie got away with one there. But maybe he knew how Binnington was going to play the rest of the night, so he just thought he'd get rid of him early.
Well, I never said I disagreed with the strategy. I just didn't like it from a Blues fan standpoint, that's all.
Well, that's Jeff Courtnall going in on, Jamie Storr, right?
Yeah, you know what, JR, it was accidental. The fact that it changed the entire game and won us a series, that's just, it just happened to be that way. That's all.
Hey, listen, you say accidental, and I hope people remember what we're talking about here. Courtnall going in, and they end up getting the 5-minute major, and the Blues score 4 power play goals. I'll never forget calling Kelly Chase about that and talking to Jeff Courtnall, and Kelly Chase goes, Courts, statute of limitations, just tell him you meant to do it on purpose. Come on, buddy. Enough time's passed. What are you going to get, a Department of Player Safety?
Well, let me take you behind the curtain a little bit on that one, JR, since we're on the topic. And let me give backstory on this for maybe some people who have no idea what we're talking about. I think it was 1998. We're playing the LA Kings in the playoffs, the first round. We're up 3-0 in the series, but we're down, I believe, 3-0 in the game. Jamie Storr had been playing unbelievable for the LA Kings. So Jeff Courtnall told a certain player, hey, dump it in. I'm going to run the goalie. And so the puck got...
Allegedly.
No, statute of limitations says I can tell the story the way it went down. And puck got dumped in, and Courts just made sure to, brush up very firmly against Jamie Storr. Their whole team went berserk, tried to kill him. They got a 5-minute major for trying to kill him, and we scored 4 goals on the power play. Marched out of there with a 4-0 sweep. Oh yeah.
Riv, wasn't Russ Courtnall playing for the Kings? He didn't talk to Jeff after the game. I think they passed each other and didn't talk.
He told him not now, later.
I don't blame him.
I'm done with this. Yeah. So that was a playoff game where the goalie got taken out of play.
It's amazing. You tell that story that way. We're all laughing, yucking it up. And, of course, when Binnington was taken out against Colorado, it's like, you know what? This is a travesty against hockey. It's ridiculous.
Well, Anthony, that's the way it works.
Yeah. No, I know. That's why I'm just I'm saying facts. I'm saying facts right now. Jeremy Rutherford joining us right now on the Fast Line on 101 ESPN.
JR, a line I was really impressed with the other night, especially in the second and third period, was that newly assembled Thomas Buchnevich-Neighbors line. I felt like they had the puck in the offensive zone almost the entire time, every single time they were on the ice. Did you by any chance talk to Craig Berube, not so much about the line, but the fact that Jake Neighbors is fitting in so well there?
Yeah, we actually had a guest reporter down at the rink today, Caden, and he asked that question about the top line. And I thought Craig Berube's answer was pretty insightful. He said that he's liked that line here lately. I think if you look at the numbers, the analytics, those weren't overly impressive the other night, but that was kind of a back-and-forth game. But I think you're right. There was a lot of time in the offensive zone. And what Craig Berube told the guest reporter today, Caden, he said, I think having Neighbors on that line and having that presence in front of the net is allowing Booch and Thomas to kind of do their thing. And he feels like that's changed the dynamic of that line. And I think he's right there. I mean, they know that they're going to have somebody with that net front presence, and they can kind of do their thing. It's worked a lot better than it has with Jordan Kyrou before they made that swap.
JR, I know that you chatted with, or at least we're in the scrum, when Berube was talking about Kyrou and how hard he's working. What other insights did you kind of take out of Berube's comments on Jordan Kyrou's play recently?
Well, Stoltz, I think just the fact that he continues to give him kind of positive comments in terms of you're playing well, you're getting the opportunities. You look at the numbers, and Kyrou's getting tons of chances, 5-on-5. He's one of the most productive guys in the league in terms of shot attempts. We've seen the pucks go off the bars. We've seen, the goalie come up with saves, breakaways on Kyrou. Overall, Craig Berube said, I like his game. I think his reload, his tracking, his getting back to the D zone is a lot better this year. But the pucks just aren't going in for him. And he said, just keep doing what you're doing, brother. It's going to happen. And I know it's cliche, but Craig Berube reiterated, once one of them goes in, 8 of them are going to go in. So I think that's the way they're looking at it right now with Jordan Kyrou.
JR, the same lineup as last game and the game before. Up front at least, did anybody ask Craig Berube about plans for Jacob Verana or what the young man could be doing to get back in the lineup?
he wasn't brought up today, but I think just in talking to or listening to Craig Bruby's comments about that situation in the last week. So, they just want him to work. And, I'll be honest with you. I think Verona had some comments the other day in the Post-Dispatch where he said that I can only control what I can control. And to me, I kind of read those comments and thought to myself, but you're not when you're in the lineup. I don't want to pick on one player, but I can see what the coaching staff sees, Riv. When you're making kind of hope-for plays, you're getting into the zone and, backhanding a pass into a tough, area, that's just not the style of play that they want right now. And also, he says that they need more work out of him. If he's not the one who's trying to score a goal, if you're the forechecker, get in, be the second forechecker. I've heard you say that as well. I don't think they're getting that from him right now. They are getting it from other guys. Hey, listen, guys, it says a lot when you talk about the guy we just mentioned, Jake Neighbors, doing all the right things. Look, if he can do it, they want to see it out of the other guys. Verona's going to have to do it before he gets back in the lineup.
Jared, great stuff as always. Have a good rest of your week. We'll check back next week.
All right, I'm flipping you guys off right now.
All right, thank you. Yeah, at least you know it's us.
Yeah, that was Marshy, JR.
For those that missed why that's funny, JR just shared the story that he thought that he saw Alex Pietrangelo at morning skate today, decided to flip him the bird, a friendly bird, and it wasn't, in fact, Alex Pietrangelo. It was another member of the Golden Knights. So JR, in his words, the most embarrassing moment as covering the team.
Well, imagine you work for The Athletic, a very reputable company,
right.
And JR writes reputable work.
Yeah.
Like it's very good stuff.
He's been around a long time. He's well established.
And then he's just giving the bird to a random player.
Go blank yourself.
What does he think? He's Brett Hull?
That's awesome. JR's the best. At JP Rutherford, follow him on Twitter and check out his great work at The Athletic. Hey, speaking of Marsh, we got to shoot him. That's right.
Yeah.
His punishment is
dress all
up.
fancy today and look good and not get shot.
That's true. That's a good point. And Jamie's got keys to victory tonight and first goal of the game with Jamie's last segment coming up next on 101 ESPN.
If you're thinking of selling your home right now, please make sure you call Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. Here's why. Right now, it's holiday time, and you may or may not know if it's a good time, a bad time. You're unsure of the market, the pricing, all that stuff. Don't trust all of that questioning to an average agent. Give it to the best. Gloria Lou, she's going to take care of you, and she thinks that right now the market is just fine over holiday season, and she also has the buyers. That's the biggest thing. Can your agent bring you the buyers? Well, Gloria Lou has thousands of ready buyers in her database. More traffic to your listing, maybe multiple offers, more money for you at the end of the day, which is everything that you want. And she also has options, too, to get you to that closing table. And one that I like is the guaranteed sales. That's where Gloria Lou sits down with the seller, agrees upon the sales price, and then sells the home for that price. Or she buys it herself, and she guarantees all that in handwriting. So please call Gloria Lou. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. She loves hearing that. Her number is 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions do apply. Gloria and the seller must agree upon the price and possession date.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We do the Pick'em Challenge each and every week against the Rizzuto Show. We lost last week as a team, and Andrew Marsh also lost for the third time this year. So Andrew Marsh now faces the three-shot punishment via the airsoft gun. Would you like to do that right now, Marsh?
No.
Okay. How about you do it right now?
Okay, sounds good.
First of all, did you do your picks yet?
Anthony, I did my picks, I believe, Sunday.
Good. For those that don't know, Marsh didn't get his picks in. Didn't get his pick in for the Thursday night game, so it is appropriate that you are the one facing the punishment.
Anthony, he's got all those things going on. He's got the kids, he's got the dogs, he's got all that stuff he's got to take care of.
You know, I'm putting up lights in the backyard. I got the kids peeing all over themselves.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't peeing on himself. He's peeing into the brush.
Maybe a little on himself.
Who knows?
There's a dribble. There's a dribble.
It happens.
It happens.
The wind. You know, you got to factor the wind in.
Absolutely. All right, Marsh, let's go here. Make sure you got that camera on, and we're good to go. He's facing three shots. Jamie, would you like to do the honors?
Oh, wow. Okay, sure.
You want to do that? That's fine.
Sure, I can do that.
By the way, while we're
ready
getting
to go with this thing?
Yeah, Marsh actually primed his own punishment gun.
That's vicious, isn't it?
It really is.
Here, load your own gun.
Yep. Not great.
It's like when your parents would say, go pick up the stick in the yard.
Yeah.
I'll hand it to mom. Whap, whap, whap.
It's not good, Jamie.
No.
That's not good at all. All right, Marsh, 3 shots. Make sure that you give Jamie something to shoot at, and maybe something for people at home. All right, go ahead.
How many am I getting?
3.
Okay, 3, 2. Watch your hands, Marshy.
Yeah. He'll be...
I'm trying to cover.
Oh, that shot back here. Did that hit a... Did you have your wallet in the back pocket?
No.
Okay.
It's $5.
Oh, look at him, Mr. Moneybag, showing it off here. All right.
Let's see about that.
Number 2 here. Oh. Jamie.
Well,
hey, that's okay, Jamie. It happens to everybody.
Here we go.
3, 2, 1. Nope.
It's jammed again.
Oh, boy. Marsh, we know this is inappropriate, but we may have to have you fix it again. While he's doing that, the proposed Soto-Yankees trade, according to Andy Martino, has not yet advanced to the point where the teams have told each other they have a deal, and no players have yet been informed that they are on the move. So this might be a premature situation when it comes to the Yankees acquiring Juan Soto, but the reports are, at least one report had, the Yankees trading for Juan Soto and Trent Grisham. You all right?
No.
Did you get your finger?
Yeah.
We may have to count. We may have to count that as a shot. So again, nothing as of right now official when it comes to the Yankees and Padres deal for Juan Soto and for Trent Grisham. John Denton also reporting that asked if he saw the Cards as a World Series contender with the pitching roster constructed. John Mozeliak said, "I do. We're excited about what we have. You've got to play the games." And you know you need a lot of things to happen. I can be bullish as I want, but that's what we play. All right, Marsh, get the hat out of the way. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
It's still not working.
Oh, come on.
Judo Show messes this thing up all the time.
3, 2, 1. Oh, that one. Yep. Okay.
We got some heat on that.
That was not weak sauce. You got one more, Marsh. Come on in. You got one more. This is for the I don't know. This is for the like you were gonna get out of it. Come on.
I had to walk.
One more shot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Ah, Jamie. 3, 2, 1. Oh.
It was 2 of them that came out.
Punishment served, Marsh. Nice job, kid.
Sorry, Marshy.
This
is an imperfect weapon.
Get your picks in at 101ESPN.com. Round 2 between the Golden Knights and the Blues tonight at Enterprise Center. Jamie, your keys to victory for the Blues tonight.
Yeah, keys to the game tonight is limit your turnovers, so that falls under the old puck management umbrella, and continue to, key number 2, get to the middle ice. You have to do that. You scored, both goals, but one goal primarily in Toropchenko. In the first period, standing in front of the goalie, got to the middle ice, shot, deflected, ended up going in. And the 3 is the opposite of that, defend the middle of the ice. Make it easier for Jordan Binnington to make those saves and swallow up the rebounds and limit all the opportunities.
There you have it. All right, let's do our first goal of the game.
Let's go, boys.
We need you to score more goals.
Get those loose pucks.
Thomas to Kyrou. Score!
Goal!
No big deal. Game winner.
I love that. All right, Marsh. Who do you got scoring the first goal tonight?
Let's go with.
By the way, we didn't. Nobody won last time, right?
No.
I had the second goal scorer in that game.
Yeah, it doesn't
Not
count.
great.
No, doesn't count.
I know it doesn't.
All right, Jamie, you go. Mark's taking too long.
Jordan Kyrou. I just think he's due. He doesn't have a goal on the road yet this year, so this is a home game, so that should probably bode well. And he was skating pretty good the other night, getting some opportunities. I could see him tonight scoring one.
I got Booch again. Give me Pavel Buchnevich.
That's a good call.
I'm going to go with Kevin Hayes.
Okay. I like
right
that.
in front, right in that blue
Kevin
paint.
Mays Hayes.
Kevin Mays Hayes. That's right. You may hit like, no. All right, so Jamie.
Yes.
You're done for the rest of the day, man. Nice
Thank you.
job. Well, at least done here. You got a second job and all that. Valley Sports and Westies. You can see Jamie tonight on the broadcast for the Blues and the Golden Knights. Of course, you can listen to the game right here on your home of the Blues, 101 ESPN. The pregame with Alex Ferrario, joined by Chris Kerber and Joey Vitale, will be held at 7 o'clock. And, of course, we'll have all the game coverage for you, as well as intermission and postgame. Jamie, we'll see you tomorrow?
No,
Friday?
I won't see you tomorrow. I'm traveling tomorrow. I'll be back on Friday.
All right, we'll see you Friday then.
Yes, sir.
See you, buddy. We've got Brad Thompson stepping in for the final hour of the show, including what's trending and what's going on with this Juan Soto deal. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Elevate your performance. Pure Performance is your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications, and they are also known for their top quality work and outstanding customer service. Pure Performance carries all kinds of accessories for your vehicle, old models, brand new, from sunshades, soft tops, trail doors, to off-road gear, bumpers, light bars. Pure Performance has you covered. Pure Performance is the best place to go for all replacement tires for any vehicle. Okay, any vehicle. They don't just sell oversized tires for your trucks or your off-roading vehicles. No, they carry everyday tires and wheels for your car, your minivan, your SUV, whatever it is that you're driving, they've got you covered. And don't forget to stop by their 25,000 square foot facility. It is the largest in the area, and it's located right off of Highway 70 in St. Peters. Walk in. Please ask for Shelby. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. She's going to make sure that she gets you all taken care of. And then the technicians, they do unbelievable work on your vehicle. You won't recognize it. You will love it. You'll want to go back again and again to my friends over at Pure Performance. So please get in there today. If not, get there online. Visit them at pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
sports, the Fast Lane has you covered. What's trending now?
Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate to Goodwill to win a magical Polar Express staycation.
Jamie Rivers is heading downtown to cover the Blues and the Golden Knights tonight for Bally Sports Midwest, and we've got our guy Brad Thompson joining us via his basement. What's up, BT?
What's going on, Anthony? How we doing today?
Well, if you're a Yankee fan, you might be doing okay. That's what leads off what's trending for us here in the Fast Lane.
Sounds like it, and I'm sure Marcia will give us some more of the details, but that Juan Soto seems to be very close, pending a physical, maybe?
Maybe. Go ahead, Marsh. What do you got?
Yeah, so the latest from Andy Martino, the proposed Soto-Yankees trade has not yet advanced to the point where the teams have told each other they have a deal, and no players have been yet informed that they are on the move, although not too much before that, we saw John Morosi tweet out all the names that were involved in the deal. So I'm not too sure what to make of what's actually going on. But if things fall through, not fall through, but if things go through, then Juan Soto is a New York Yankee.
I mean, look, if you're a Yankee fan, I think you got to be excited, BT, when you think about the prospects of Stanton and Judge and Soto all being in the same lineup. Hell, Trent Grisham's a really good player too, hitting the bottom of San Diego's lineup. He could do that again for the Yankees again if the deal goes through. They still need pitching though. Garrett Cole, they got an ace. They're good there. Cy Young winner Garrett Cole. But outside of Garrett Cole, they don't have enough pitching, and injuries have been a major problem, including for some of the guys I just mentioned. But if you're getting Juan Soto, you got to feel pretty good.
You got to feel great about it, and maybe, Anthony, the point that you make about them needing pitching, that's probably why Yama Soto was trending on Twitter, because they want both of them, fans do. So they want Yamamoto and Soto as well. But what a big pickup this will be if the Yankees do get him. I mean, picture that. Picture that guy, Juan Soto, hitting in front of Aaron Judge. Stop it. I mean, It's going to be bombs left and right. One of those guys very well could end up winning the MVP, like a real stretch that is, picking two of the better players in the game to win it, a guy that did win it 2 years ago in Aaron Judge. But, man, it's a good lineup. We know what it is for the Padres. It's obviously a salary dump for them because Juan Soto is estimated to make over $30 million in his final year of arbitration, his fourth and final year of arbitration. He'll become a free agent after the season. The Yankees have that payroll flexibility, so lineup looks good. But I'm with you, Anthony, because right now when you look at it, Carlos Rodon, don't know what that ends up looking like. Big money, big talent, and then as far as like the rest of the guys in their lineup, who's going to be in that rotation? Who's involved in this trade? You know, is it Michael King, Clark Schmidt? They got a lot of good names, but who's going the other way?
Right, Vasquez, I think, was one of the names mentioned. Yep. Kyle Higashioka. Thank you. Well said. Yep. What are you doing? Games now? You doing baseball games? You learn these names? Higgy. No. Kyle Higgy.
It's old Higgy.
Catcher for the Yankees.
The Higmeister.
It'd be, so you're right. We don't know who's going the other way. And if it is pitching, then it's like, okay, well, you added a bat, and it's a left-handed bat, and that plays well in the park, and it should be great. But can you not give up 8 runs when you're in the midst of scoring?
So that begs the question, right? The Yankees, we all know that they have played in a different at a different level than other teams financially for a very long time.
Yeah.
You pony up and you make this deal, and let's just assume this deal gets done. That adds another $30 million in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's saying you're in. But if you are missing out on the pitching, you have to land one of these top starters. Like there cannot be anybody from the top saying, well, we were up against it at this point.
Right.
You're the Yankees, and you're like that close. You also haven't won a championship since 2009, which really, it's for them an eternity. It would be very weird if they stopped there. It's just like we were talking about, maybe not the same thing, but as we talked about the Cubs, who have been fairly quiet so far this offseason. It would be very interesting or weird if they stop there and say, hey, well, we got the manager right, $40 million on this guy. Yeah, but Bellinger's a free agent. Stroman's a free agent. So the old what's next is an interesting one here when it comes to the Yankees, and certainly, more importantly for the Cardinals, what do the Cubs do next? Heck, what do the Cardinals do next?
Yeah. Sticking with Major League Baseball's free agency, BT, we talked a little bit about this earlier in the show, but the question I want to pose to both of you is the Ohtani free agency situation another example of how Major League Baseball does not take advantage of its offseason like the NBA and NFL do?
So I don't know if you saw Buster Olney's piece for ESPN.com, Brad, talking about how Shohei Ohtani is basically doing himself in Major League Baseball a disservice because he and or his camp are putting restrictions on teams to not talk about the free agent process. He wants everything to be secretive. And Buster Olney's point is that this is Major League Baseball's time to drum up interest, to spark that, the rumor mill and the headlines and all that. And this is just a missed opportunity. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I did see that. Ken Rosenthal wrote a piece about it at The Athletic yesterday as well. Even Stephen A. Smith is dropping in on this one, saying it's deplorable, the blasphemy, the unmitigated gall of his agent to go out there and to handle it the way that he has. Here's the thing with, I don't disagree on the surface of what they're talking about. This is a generational player. This is a player that we will be telling our grandkids' kids about in Shohei Ohtani, and you would love to be able to build up that drama around it. And this is something that we've talked about plenty over the years with baseball. As soon as free agency starts in the NFL, the NHL, the NBA, it is go time. And your stars are gone because everybody wants to jump in. There are deadlines to sign these players. So in that respect, Major League Baseball has a little bit of work to do. But who are we to tell someone how to go about their business when the rules are what the rules are? If you want to change some things, if you're Major League Baseball and you want to have a window of when you sign free agents, and they tried this a couple of years ago, by the way, the Players Union squashed it, of having it. I think it was the last day of the winter meetings was the last day you could potentially sign a multi-year contract, and the Players Union said, no, we don't like that at all. But that's how I think it needs to change. It's the same conversation, oddly enough, from one of his teammates in Mike Trout. Say, man, Mike Trout should be a star. He should be out in front of it more. Some people don't want to be out in front of it. Some people just are dedicated to their craft, the game of baseball. They live a quiet life. Apparently, he has a dog that we're not allowed to know his name. He has a cat as well that apparently jumped in a window during one of his Zooms. But, I think everybody would like to be let in or let behind the curtain a little bit more with Shohei Ohtani. But just like all of us, we're all different. We all like different things. Where did you land on this one, Anthony?
I said it almost, you said it perfectly, Brad. I was in line with what you were thinking. Both things can be true, right? I say that a lot, but it is. If you're the NBA and you're the NFL, you command a lot of the attention. Why? Because especially if you're the NFL, you're rolling every day of the year. You have something going on. Yeah, there's dead periods, but the draft, there's a buildup. Free agency, there's a buildup. Training camps, preseason, everything is a buildup in the NFL. Everything could be a headline. The NBA, the trade deadline is a big deal. The offseason is a big deal. If some player mentions he wants to be traded, everybody's talking about it. So this is a missed opportunity for Major League Baseball. ... What can they do about it? You can't ask Shohei Ohtani to be anything more than what he is. And if he's very protective of the process that he's going through, that is his process. And he's not under contract. So there's nothing Major League Baseball or team can do about it. And if you want Shohei Ohtani, you kind of got to play by his rules. So if you're the Yankees, you're the Dodgers, you're the Angels, and you're interested in Shohei Ohtani, and his camp is telling you, we're going to watch to see if you spill the beans that Shohei Ohtani was in your clubhouse, like Dave Roberts, talked about.
Did he get the wrist slap?
Yeah. Oh, no. I don't know why he said that. I can't comment on it, but I don't know why he said that, is what the GM for the Dodgers said, basically. What are you going to do? You're going to play along because you want Shohei Ohtani. So I'm with you, Brad. It is a missed opportunity, yet Shohei Ohtani can be who he is.
Yeah, and I don't think that we're stupid enough to believe that Dave Roberts talking about a meeting with Shohei Ohtani is going to be enough to make him not want to go there.
Right.
But some things are important to some people. Obviously, privacy with this situation is important to him. And honestly, on some level, Anthony, like, I really respect the way that he's going about it. He could make it the Shohei show everywhere he goes. And everything is
call
about
it the
him.
decision.
Oh, for sure. Oh, he could do a show. He could do it at the Boys and Girls Club, and then he could say where he's taking his talents. Dang it, Anthony, that is an idea.
It's a PR.
And
it's a perfect PR situation. What could go wrong?
oh man, somebody should write that down. Maybe Shohei's not the guy to do it, but somebody should probably do that one.
Yeah.
But really, a guy where everybody in the world wants a piece of him or wants to just know everything. The fact that he doesn't give in to that and just say, this is how I do it.
Yeah.
And fortunately, his agent is in line. I respect that.
By the way, if you missed what Brad was talking about with the whole dog situation, Shohei Ohtani, when he was accepting his MVP, wasn't it the MVP?
It was the
award.
MVP,
So
yeah.
he was accepting the award. He had a dog on his lap, and a lot of the media members just wanted to know what the dog's name was. And apparently, Ohtani's camp was like, we're not releasing that information.
Well, Anthony, you think about this. First of all, he's already made a lot of money, okay? He is set to make a whole lot more money, right? I mean, I think that we can all agree upon
about
that.
$500 million probably when it's all said and
Okay.
done.
Well, as soon as they, we find out what his dog's name is, all we have to do is go to wherever we think his bank is, put in his dog name 17, which is his jersey number, and then all of a sudden we're in, like bingo, bango, bongo.
Brad, I didn't think about that. That's a good call.
Yeah, you can't divulge that sort of information, Anthony.
That's a good
just
call.
Like, same reason I'm sure his dog doesn't even have a collar with his name. That thing's just like super microchipped.
Right.
Like, you got to have real deal
Boom, we got his
stuff to be able to get that dog.
We got his Venmo. We got his bank account information. We got his email. Everything. Yeah, good call. Didn't think about that. Marsh, you got anything else for us in what's trending?
Yeah, Zach Wilson starting for the Jets.
Hey, there you go. The Jets are back. And so is Zach
Big
Wilson.
Willie style. Do you think that, after a few times, we all learn with more reps, Anthony. The more we do something, the first time that you sat behind that microphone, Anthony, I bet it was a scary place. And maybe you scuffled a little bit. Chances are you didn't because you're a natural, unlike Zach Wilson. But do you think that maybe this is the time where he ends up turning the page and he auditions for every other team out there?
Yeah, no, I don't think so, Brad. I think he's probably going to play the same way that he did before. But I think that the Jets, Robert Saleh, realized that when you're starting Tim Boyle, it can, in fact, get worse for you.
Yeah.
But you may say to yourself, could it get any worse than Zach Wilson? Yeah, it was Tim Boyle, who they released after starting on Sunday. Benched for Trevor Siemian. Neither guy looked, I don't know if you saw any, like the highlights or if you're watching Red Zone Channel, I don't know if you saw any of it, but Tim Boyle and Trevor Siemian didn't look like they wanted to be there. They threw, one of them threw an interception. He just kind of stood there like just staring like, well, that's unfortunate. And then walked right to the Jets sideline.
Like, just like practice. I didn't think this would happen in the game.
I threw the same pass in practice, got picked off. Who knew?
Boy, that scout team was good.
Yeah. I don't know if Zach Wilson needs football either. Like that was a conversation about Johnny Manziel, and we all thought because him and his buddy made up the story about the oil money that they had because they wanted to cover up the fact that Johnny was signing deals or autographs and stuff in between Texas A&M games. Brought up the whole money thing. He came from oil and all that. He doesn't need football. I don't think he needed football because he had other interests. He just kind of fell out of love with it. I wonder if Zach Wilson is one of those guys that bleeds football. And if he doesn't, that's a tough job. I mean, 24/7, you're responsible for everything. You're facing the media constantly. You're under constant scrutiny, especially in that market. If you don't need football, just be done with it.
Yeah, well, a couple of things there that really make sense. First of all, if you're, and I don't want to necessarily call him a fringe talent, he was second overall in the draft, right?
Correct.
But it hasn't translated, right? So if you're not all in, it's going to be very difficult to get over that. And then that market is a feeding frenzy. Even if you try to stay away from it, I guarantee you can't go anywhere. New York, a lot of places, St. Louis is one of them, right? We might get a text on the text line calling me all kinds of names. So most of you would never do that, but some of you would. 314-399-9646 if you want to get in on that.
We'll catch it in a second.
Yes,
but, Brad's still talking. So
what?
Some promo just played.
Oh,
for the balloon
was it good?
Party. It was for the balloon party. I don't know if you heard it, but
I didn't hear it.
Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say in New York though, Anthony, they tell the truth. All right. So Zach Wilson's walking down the street, and it's like not like, hey, go get him this weekend, Zachy boy.
Right.
No,
You ruined
it's like,
my life.
You are horse bleep.
You actually made the Mets good this year. I want to go back and watch Mets highlights. That's what I want to do on Sundays. You flea bag. All right, it's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Sports Six Pack is next. You get a question for Brad and I. Send it in to the Air Cover Service text line 314-399-9646. Sports Six Pack next.
I have a question. It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is now.
All right, time for the Sports Six Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Brad Thompson filling in for the final hour. Here's Andrew Marsh with your questions via the Sports Six Pack.
Question number one.
All right, gentlemen, let's start off from the 210. If these players, a.k.a. Major League Baseball players, want these massive contracts, shouldn't they have a responsibility to help promote the sport?
I think there's something to that, yeah. But again, the unfortunate reality in this situation, and the texter, who I think, brings up a really intriguing question, BT. Again, there's no contract here. I know he's looking for a contract, but he's still, the reality is Shohei Ohtani is still going to get paid regardless of if he then goes to the media after he meets with the Blue Jays or the Dodgers and has some impromptu interview. He's going to get paid regardless. This is what Shohei Ohtani wants. He wants everything to be secretive. If that's what he wants, and everybody wants him to play for them, then they're gonna follow along with that. In fact, we've already seen that. The Blue Jays, I think it was the Blue Jays, or maybe there's another team that said, "Yeah, we can't talk. We're not gonna talk about that." So clearly, everybody else is willing to play along. Now, when he does sign a contract, then it's up to the team to set forth those media obligations for Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it is. And this isn't like a new thing with Shohei Ohtani, by the way. I mean, we were talking about when he won the MVP award, like how close to the vest everything was played. Like there were no reporters there with him. He didn't talk to anybody afterwards, Anthony. Like this is just kind of who he is and what he's going through right now. But to answer the question, like in a perfect world, the answer is yes. Yes, like you would love your sport's biggest stars to be the biggest advocate of eyes on the product. And Shohei Ohtani would do that. Anything that he does or anything that he talks about, baseball fans or fringe baseball fans, and now obviously these are baseball fans all over earth with Shohei Ohtani, like want to know what's going on, and it would only be for the greater good of the sport. But in all fairness, he doesn't truly carry that responsibility. His responsibility is to whatever team that he signs with, and to himself. And then after that, it's kind of like pick what you want and what you want to embrace. But I wish he'd be out there more. I wish kind of all these guys had more of a voice. But and his situation is a little bit different, Anthony. But I think that a lot of times, like, we want all these athletes to talk and we want them out there, but sometimes it doesn't really benefit them to do so. And oftentimes they might actually hinder themselves. I don't think Shohei Ohtani can do that. I think that Shohei Ohtani could basically do anything right now, aside from maybe just a couple of felonies, and be okay.
Just a couple.
Yeah. It's like if they're like, "Hey, Shohei, what was that dog's name?" It's like, well, you don't worry about that dog, because he made a mistake on the rug, and he's gone. So you're like, he's fine. So I got him adopted, new house.
Yeah, there you go. I'm glad you said that, BT, given your
of course
track record of comments.
What do you mean? My dog has ruined everything in my house. And we kept her.
Love him.
She's eaten 4 chairs on a dining room set. Anthony, I think I told you this. A puzzle piece, and a very important one, a very red one right in the middle. I think I told you this, Anthony. If you come over to our house during the holiday season, which you should, you'll notice dining room looks nice, but if you look down, all of the chair legs are wrapped in pool noodles. I put pool noodles around them because this dog just, like, she looks at you like you're the dumb one. It's like, why aren't you getting in on this? Yeah. This is fantastic.
Have you had this wood yet? This is incredible.
Oh my gosh. I've put everything on it too, like all the bitter stuff and like apple cider vinegar, hot sauce. No, she digs all that.
You're basically just providing condiments for the pup.
It's correct, Anthony.
Yeah. Question 2, please.
Question number 2.
From the 314, what is your all-time favorite sports-related speech? Mine is the Jimmy V speech.
Yeah, that one's great. That's hard to beat. I think you also have to go with Al Pacino in the movie Any Given Sunday.
That's the winner right there.
Talking to his Sharks team right before they play Dallas in the playoffs. I think that's a big one. How could you go wrong with the miracle speech, of course? Not tonight.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
It's a great one. But yeah, I think we have to go with, what was his name? Tony D'Amico or D'Amato? Tony D'Amato's speech in the movie Any Given Sunday.
Tell you this, Anthony, in any fight, we want the guy who's willing to die, who's going to win that inch.
The inches we need are all around us.
claw with their fingernails for that inch. I mean, come on.
I love it. Love it.
You
No,
really
that
run
is a
through a
really
wall.
good one. I don't know if that counts. Not quite as
It
impactful
counts.
as the Jimmy V one. I'll tell you another one that is not it's not as sports related necessarily as it is like people related, and sports bring it together. Is Jack Buck's speech after after 9/11. I mean, that was like even now every time I hear it, like it's incredibly impactful.
Gives you goosebumps.
That's one of my favorites.
I also think if we're talking about impactful speeches, how can you not include Mike Schilt's speech about how we'll play with anybody? You know?
That was pretty impactful.
It was impactful because I got Randy Rosarina traded right out of here.
Oh, Anthony. Come on now.
Come on. You tell me it was impactful.
Come on.
Speculation, you know?
Yeah,
That's a lot of speculation there.
2 from me. Lou Gehrig's farewell speech.
It's
a good one.
Certainly.
And then
he didn't want to speak that day either, Marshy. Like he had to get. I forget which teammate talked him into it. Say, hey, you should do this. Like he was just going to doff his cap and because he was too emotional. But that was awesome.
Today. That was it, right? Today.
Yeah, I was maybe wondering, hoping that you'd.
Oh no,
finish it.
I can't do that.
I consider myself self.
The luckiest.
No, we're done.
Also, Craig Berube's Game 7 speech.
Short but sweet.
It was great.
Yep.
Question number 3.
Tony D'Amato, though, for sure. Number 1.
From the 573, I've seen people dismiss Sonny Gray as an ace because of his stint in New York. I've always felt stints in New York need to be looked at through different lenses, given the media, fan expectations, and the reputation of being a New York Yankee. What do you guys think?
Sonny Gray has not been and will not be the only player that did not suffer the Yankee, playing for the Yankees in New York and struggle. The most recent example, of course, was now his name, the outfielder, big outfielder from the Rangers, Joey Gallo. I mean, Joey Gallo went out there. That was a disaster. Couldn't play in New York. There's been countless players that have wound up with the Yankees, and it hasn't worked out. Sonny Gray has been good virtually everywhere else he's been.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. And some guys, there is something to be said. Some guys are more comfortable in smaller markets. Well, the other markets he's been in, Oakland, Cincinnati, Minnesota, now St. Louis, quiet. It's not the same exact thing as pitching in the pinstripes. But to me, that also doesn't mean he can't handle big spots and big situations either. I think that's kind of connecting two dots that maybe don't belong together. I know this. I know that you've got a guy that has finished top 5 in the Cy Young twice, and as soon as last year he finished second. He's finished top 10 3 times, 3-time All-Star. So you're getting a guy that he's obviously the top of your rotation, and he's going to be near the top. I'm not saying he's a one for every team in baseball. There are certainly other guys that fit that bill, but I'll tell you this: there's not a rotation in baseball that would look at themselves like, "Nah, we don't need a Sonny Gray." You're damn right you do. You would absolutely love to bring him in. You know why else I think that Sonny Gray gets this maybe a little bit of disrespect? I think it's because of how big he is. Honestly, I think that you look at him, he's 5'10", he's like $195, if that, and it's like, that's not what an ace looks like.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. That's to me the beauty of the game of baseball is you'll have some guys like that. Yeah, I would like, if I'm building a guy on MLB The Show, make him 6'7", 250, just huge. Yeah, big donkey downhill, man, and then letting it rip.
Is he going to play forward for the Bucks?
Well, when he's not pitching, he's obviously DHing. I built this Shohei-esque player.
That makes sense.
But I really do think there's something like that with Sonny Gray, because Marcus Stroman has dealt with the same thing, I think, throughout his career.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, to your point about the whole Yankee thing, and he can't pitch in big moments. He's made 6 postseason starts in his career. Do you know what his ERA is?
I would say in the 3s.
3.26 is Sonny Gray's ERA, 6 starts in the postseason. That includes a rough performance against the Astros last year. When
he had a good and a bad last year.
Yeah. So, and if what about the ALCS? He's pitched once in the ALCS, made 1 start, went 5 innings, allowed 1 hit, 2 runs. over. Oh, I said the 5 innings. So the one ALCS performance that he had, pitched very well. So he's got good postseason numbers.
By the way, we got a text from the 618 who usually sends interesting text messages. This one might be the best one in reference to the best speeches, sports related. He said, "Remember when Bobby Boucher showed up at halftime and the Mud Dogs won the Bourbon Bowl?"
Do you? That's from
the 618.
That's from the 6-1. Great.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
And he followed up with, Michaelis is your blanking number 2, which is pathetic.
There you go. He's back.
He's back, baby. He is back. Nothing but consistent. I'll give him that much.
You remember Bobby Boucher showed up? Nice. All right. It's Fast Line on 101 at ESPN. Brad, have you been in like doing the shows when I've done the Stalter Stackup and revealed the number 10 team?
Anthony, I have been in the Stalter Stackup.
Sure. But do you know about the powers of the number 10 team?
Oh, yeah, you bury whoever that team is.
I wouldn't put it that way.
You tend to ruin all of their hope and chances. Is that correct or incorrect? I might be off on this.
No, that's about right. Stalter Stackup next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues are back in action tonight, taking on the Vegas Golden Knights for the second game in a row. They defeated Vegas on Monday in overtime, 2-1 the final. They're back in action once again, this time at the Enterprise Center. Pregame starts at 7, puck drop is at 8, and you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. We talked earlier with Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider from The Athletic. If you missed that interview or anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have the Stalter Stackup coming up next. I know everyone's been waiting to find out who Anthony will choose as his number 10 team. That's coming your way next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center Update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me? It's time for the Stalter Stackup. The top 10 teams in the NFL from the mind of Anthony Stalter.
All right, those wondering who my number 10 team is for the Stalter Stackup, been waiting for a little while now. Now, why is the number 10 team so important? Well, that's because each and every time we've done the Stalter Stackup, that number 10 team has lost that week. In fact, if we didn't do a Stalter Stackup, that number 10 team, the previous time, lost multiple times.
Yeah.
Marsh is a little upset right now. Marsh took some shots at me earlier in the show, so I think he's, as a Vikings fan, I think he's worried right now.
Well, I'm on pins and needles 10. Right now.
But we're not starting with number 10. Let's start with number 1, Marsh.
Okay. Number 1.
Brad, how can you not have the San Francisco 49ers as your number 1 team after they dismantled the Philadelphia Eagles? You know, it's one thing to say, we would have won by 3 scores or whatever Deebo Samuel said after the NFC Championship game last year when Brock Purdy got hurt. And he's like, you know what, we would have won by 3 scores if Brock Purdy was still there. It's quite another to then score 3 times in the rematch at Lincoln Financial Field. When this team is healthy, they're the best team in the league. What do you think?
No, I would agree with you. You can't push back on that right now. Now, I will say this. I don't know if it was like
we got
ground, Anthony.
We got robot BT. Yeah, we got robot BT.
Darn it. I'll be back.
All right, so BT's gonna reset here. We'll go to number 2, and we'll get BT's thoughts on the Niners.
Number 2.
I still have the Eagles because if these two teams meet again, very unlikely that the Eagles went to, an overtime match the previous week against the Bills. Every team goes through ups and downs throughout the course of a season. That team is still stacked. Now they do have some problems defensively. Front 4, excellent. The secondary can be had. They have a hard time getting off the field on third down. They don't generate interceptions. It's not like the Eagles are a perfect product, but they do have a great roster. They do have Jalen Hurts. They do have all the weapons offensively and do have great coaching. So the Eagles are still number 2. Do we have regular BT back and not?
I believe so.
There we go.
It's tough to say, Anthony. I'm not sure.
We got it.
All right.
Yeah. 49ers, you're having some thoughts on the Niners?
No, I was right there with you. It's hard to push up against that one. I do think that not everything was perfect there for the Eagles in that game. We all know they were coming off of a short week, but in every facet of the game, the Niners were better.
There you go. Number 3.
Number 3.
I got the Baltimore Ravens. The only team, I've mentioned this before, the only teams that have beaten the Ravens this year are the Baltimore Ravens. Their 3 losses have all been, opportunities where they could have won the game easily and did not. Now, I know they played in some closer games, 2-1, though, so they count all the same. But the Browns lost 33-31 when they were up by, 14 or 16, whatever it was at one point. The loss of the Steelers, in which they were set up the goal line. Lamar threw an interception on a fade pattern and let Pittsburgh back in the game when they had no business being in it. The bottom line is this defense is excellent. Lamar is playing at an elite level. He's got some weapons now. I really like the young kid Mitchell, who gives them some explosiveness out of the running game. So I got the Baltimore Ravens at number 3.
Number 4.
Kansas City. I got to drop them down following the loss to the Packers. I wonder if that defense is starting to wilt a little bit. It might not be fair because they've been excellent since week 1, but boy, Jordan Love and the Packers kind of exposed some things. And then on offense, you say, well, what's wrong with the Chiefs? One, I don't think Travis Kelce's 100%, BT. I don't know. You watch the games as well. I don't know if this guy is 100%. And he brought up a great point one time on the podcast, that New Heights podcast he does with Jason Kelce. And I think he was talking about a different player. But he said, if you don't have your legs, you don't have anything. And I don't think he has legs right now. He's dealing with the knee injury, the ankle injury. He doesn't look 100%. So you're dealing with a Kelce that is limited. Rashee Rice, the rookie for Kansas City, is emerging. But outside of that, Marquez Valdez-Scantling is not. He should not be your third go-to guy in that passing game. They've tried to replicate what they had in Tyreek Hill, which is impossible. But they got guys like Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore. They're trying to replicate what they had in Tyreek Hill. You can't do it. So something's limited there. But they still have Andy Reid. They still have Mahomes. You think that Kelsey's going to get healthy at some point, and the defense is very good. What do you got, BT?
I just worry about Kansas City because I don't know if they can win a game when Mahomes isn't perfect, right?
I think it's a great point.
Mahomes is perfect most of the time, but they just don't have enough other pieces. And you mentioned the defense. The defense is very, very good, but offensively, man, like he makes that one mistake, all of a sudden you feel like you're in a world of trouble. I think that you might even have the Chiefs a little too high, Anthony.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, maybe you like this next team better. 5. Dolphins. I got the Dolphins here. The only problem is they haven't played anybody. Their wins have come against sub-500 teams. Their losses have come against the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Eagles. So they played 3 playoff teams in their losses. Everything else has been perfect, though. Tyreek Hill, Martian, we were talking about this yesterday. Tyreek Hill probably should be the MVP right now of the league. He tilts the field every single week for them. You take Tyreek Hill off of that offense, you're not scoring as much as you do. That's just a fact. He makes everybody else around him that much better. The defense, though, has gotten better each and every week now that they're healthy and they got Jalen Ramsey. And if they get the top seed, BT, you go down to South Beach in January, that's a little different story than the Dolphins having to go to Baltimore or Kansas City in January. That's important that they get the number 1 seed.
It's really important. It's going to be important, too, that they come out of last week hopefully unscathed. I haven't seen any of the injury reports, but they did lose 2 guys on their line. They lost Armstead and Hunt. Both ended up leaving the game. Yeah, obviously, Tua is going to need all the protection in the world. They also had a knee injury on the other side of the ball. So we all know health is one of the biggest things. But the Dolphins, I'm high on the Dolphins this year, Anthony. And the fact that they haven't beaten anybody great, well, I think that's going to be the same thing you're going to say about your next team.
Yep, exactly.
Number 6.
Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, they're the NFC version of the Miami Dolphins. Let's just be honest. They haven't beaten anybody, but the teams that they have beaten, they beat them pretty bad. So Dallas Cowboys at 6.
Number 7. Thank you.
Lions haven't looked great, but I still got the Lions at 7 because I'm not in love with any of the teams behind them. So I got the Lions here. Maybe they're just going through a little bit of down spurt. I mean, the Saints, they allowed the Saints to get back in that game last week, but nevertheless won, and they're still a formidable foe.
Number 8.
I got Buffalo. I mean, the Bills could lose to anybody any given Sunday, and they also win because of Josh Allen. I don't think Josh Allen is getting the credit that he deserves. The turnovers are real. You can't turn the ball over as much as he has, but he's also trying to win the team or win the game every single week, almost on his own at times. So I got the Bills, who are 6-6, were the most dangerous 6-6 team in the league.
Number 9.
I thought about having the Texans here, but I kept the Jaguars here just because we don't know the health status of Trevor Lawrence. Losing Christian Kirk is a big deal to that passing game. If Lawrence is fine, they're going to be okay. Hopefully he's not out for very long. In fact, they haven't even ruled him out for this Sunday, so I got the Jaguars at 9.
Number 10.
Number 10, here we go. This is a team that I feel as though, despite the record, is really making headway. Now, I had mentioned the most dangerous 6-6 team is the Bills. That's second to the Minnesota Vikings, who I have number 10. The Vikings.
Are you serious?
The Vikings.
They've lost 2
Marsh,
in a row.
as you know, stuck with Joshua Dobbs. This is a smart organization. They know what they have in Dobbs, and they're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater just because they lost 2 straight. That defense, Marsh, as you know, has been outstanding, and despite the fact that they lost to the Bears, that was a fluke, and everybody knows it.
Can't even look at you.
I got the Vikings at number 10, BT. They figured some things out in the bye, and they're going to be good again. Mark of a good team, 4-2 on the road. 4-2 on the road for the Vikings. They're going to win this week against the Raiders. I apologize, BT. Number 10, Vikings.
This is ridiculous.
Anthony, don't apologize. I'm heading to FanDuel right now.
You have the Vikings in your pick'em.
Yeah.
Silver and black.
Yeah, because I believe in them. Marsh, you think I'm going to put a top 10 team and not pick them? Have a team in the top 10 and not pick them on Sunday? Of course I'm going to take the Vikings.
Why are you trying to ruin my weekend?
I'm not.
I have a nice weekend
you're making
lined
this
up.
personal. I got them in the top 10. I thought you'd be happy.
I had to wait a full week to watch them play, and now you do this.
I don't know where this is coming from, Marsh, but we'll figure that out in the break. We got what you missed and criticisms, compliments next on 101 ESPN. I'm sure, like most of you want to, when you're purchasing a new car, you want great deals, of course. You want to be taken care of when it comes to the service, and you also want to make sure that you can finance a vehicle. And at Auto Center Nissan Herculaneum, you can do all of that. If you go to AutoCentersNissan.com, you can peruse the over 700 vehicles that they have on the lot at Herculaneum, and they've got it all in one lot. You don't have to drive around. Actually, that vehicle's over at this dealership of ours, and that. No, you got one spot out in Herculaneum. You can check out, you can test drive the vehicles that you're looking at. And you might not be looking at a Nissan. Maybe you're looking at a pre-owned vehicle. And they got great deals right now on pre-owned vehicles. Any make, any model, they've got it. And unbelievable financing options that couldn't be better than right now. If you're looking at rates and you're worried about that, the financing options at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, they got the best financing team that I've ever seen at a dealership. No money down, no payments for 90 days, 0% APR for up to 5 years. They've got those offers going throughout the month of December. So head out there. Get a hot dog, enter to win a brand new Polaris ATV, and tell them Stalter sent you at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Brad Thompson and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. If you miss anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast at 101ESPN.com or your free 101 ESPN mobile app. All brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We chatted with Jeremy Rutherford. He shared a funny story about how he flipped off one of the members of the Las Vegas Golden Knights. So you have to check out the podcast for that information. Jamie and I debated whether or not it's okay for athletes to skip bowl games. We talked a little Cardinals. Shohei, whether or not he has a responsibility. BT and I talked about it, and so did Jamie and I, about whether or not he has a responsibility to Major League Baseball to go throughout the free agent process with, I don't know, playing a little bit nicer with the media, not being so secretive. So it's all available on the podcast. What do you got for criticisms and compliments, Marsh?
Yeah, well, we got a text from 314. Sorry, Anthony, but the Vikings aren't a top 10 team. I mean, I agree.
You're kidding me, right?
No, they're not. They lost 2 in a row.
Who should be there?
I don't know. Maybe the Texans?
Nah, not for. I mean, they lost to the Broncos last week. Broncos were knocking on the door. I can't count that.
The Vikings lost to the Broncos.
It was a fluke, though.
Look, it's pretty obvious, Marshy, they belong. Like, this is a top 10 team. That's the thing about Anthony, man. He's not following the trends of anybody else.
Thank
you don't go to anybody else's power rankings.
That's right.
And see the Vikings in the top 10. But he's not watching that surface BS like all these guys that get paid to watch football for a living
that's right.
are doing. Like, he's digging a little bit deeper. And, Anthony, I think you've uncovered some gold.
Thank you, Brad. Yeah, you can go anywhere and see the power rankings and see the Texans at number 10. Who's going to tell it to you straight? The Minnesota Vikings, despite their 2-game losing streak, should be still a top 10 team and will be. Nah, right here.
That guy.
Me. So,
better luck next year, Marshy. Better luck next year.
With all due respect to the texter, Vikings are absolutely a top 10 team.
This is
specifically number 10 in the Stalter Stackup.
This is unbelievable. All right. Well, we went over in our Sports Six-Pack some of the greatest sports-related speeches.
Yeah.
And the 314 says the best sports speech of all time was Brett Hull in 2019. We went Blues.
You know, he nailed it. Made a lot of sense. Invoked the passion out of the crowd that day. Yeah, that one's hard to beat.
You combine that speech or that moment, right? Mm-hmm. And then you combine that with the visual of him right there on the glass, squeezing his own nipples. You have got, you got magic written all over it. Those two things will live in infamy.
No question.
Last one here from the 314. Anthony, you live your life. You do whatever you want.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Was there anything else to that, or is that that was just the advice? I like that. I like that a lot. Thank you.
I mean, I can add something to it, but
no, there's no need to. If there wasn't anything else, I think that's probably off the Shohei Ohtani situation, where you can, Shohei Ohtani's living his best life in secret.
Makes sense.
I'm going to do that as well. I'm going to live my best life and stack those teams the way I want to in the NFL, including the Vikings at number 10.
That was brought to you by Packer Dan.
That's Brad Thompson. He's going to be with me for most of the show tomorrow. We've got Blues hockey for you tonight, of course. The pregame starts at 7 o'clock. I think we got a Blues-related instant replay coming up today. So from 6 to 7, you'll hear that. And then the Blues pregame as they take on the Golden Knights at 7. For Brad Thompson and Andrew Marsh, I'm Anthony Stalter. See ya.